Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. And as always, we would love to have you as a part of the conversation. All you have to do is give us a call 508 924 3521. 508 924 3521. Give us a call. We love to have you with us this morning and every morning. But before we go another step further, I got to say good morning to my brother from another mother, but we got those same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Now, Leonard, you know what today is.
What?
Today is Way Out Wednesday.
That
Way
is
Out
true.
Wednesday. And I'm asking you this question, Leonard. Can we go way out, brother?
I'm just ashamed that I forgot that.
You forgot today is Way Out Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
I need to ask you a question, and I know you know because a lot of time people say, Raheem, you Christian and you this. Yeah, yes, I am. Yes, I am. But at the same time, I'm also aware. I'm aware and I pay attention to everything. Now, do I always say anything about it? Absolutely not. But I pay attention. And I got a question for you, Leonard, and I need you to give me some understanding on this. Why do you think Why do you think? And I asked this guy asked this question, and I'm leading up to it for a certain reason.
Hmm.
But this guy asked the question. He asked a young lady, and I sit and I watched her try to answer this question, and she could not answer the question. She couldn't answer the question. The question is real simple. It was Minister Farrakhan,
Hmm.
and the young and he knew the young lady that was there in attendance. He was on a talk show back in the day. I think it was the Donahue show, and he asked her. He said, "Well, why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Tell me, explain to me." And I don't even think he cared that she do or that she don't. I don't think that mattered to him at all. But he asked her the question, "Why do you hate me?" Well, and she stumbled and she was so careless and so uneducated. Lack of a better term, uneducated with her answer. So even in this day and time, why do you think so many people hate Farrakhan?
Because he stands for something. Some of them dislike him from the organization that he's with, and they're racist.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't care for him. There are some people that don't care for him because he presents someone who is strong and of good courage, and he has a standard for living. He lives by moral standards
Mm-hmm.
that they cannot live up to. They have nothing to support a lot of their beliefs and why they do the things they do. And here this man has. And he
Mm-hmm.
has so for over 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when you meet someone who is actually trying to be a better human being and succeeding at that, you may have some animosity towards him.
Mm. Because I sit there, Leonard, and truth of the matter, I sit there and I watched it and I watched it and I tried to find where she was gonna say something, give some kind of concrete reason why she did not like the man, and she
Same
couldn't.
reason why people hate the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Same reason.
Mm.
Anybody that presents a moral standard to live by that most people can't reach. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times some people choose to have animosity towards them, and then other people choose to follow their example.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue. They envy him because he has the ability. He is an excellent leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
And see, that's one of the things right there. I think people have an issue with because the Leonard, we know
Yes.
we're Christians, but at the same time, we're not Christian to the fact that we're not going to listen to somebody that's bringing something good to us.
Yes, I read the Quran every day.
Absolutely, absolutely, and see, people trip when they come into my house because I have the Bible, and the Holy Quran sitting right there side
I
by
am
side.
Christian. I am Christian and Muslim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Whatever their dislike is their problem. And if they cannot tell you why they dislike a person or what have you, then that's an emotional issue that they have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she, it was kind of comical seeing her stand there because I'm gonna try to pull up I'm gonna try to pull the clip up. It's an old Donahue show. I'm gonna try to pull the clip up, but they talked a little bit, and then I think he was pretty much setting her up, how he was
Mhm.
coming to her and talking to her. Then they said, "Well, ma'am," he said, "Well, my dear," this is what he said. He said, "My dear sister, tell me, answer one question for me. Why do you hate me so much?" And that question shocked her because I don't think she was prepared to answer a question like that. She had no answer.
Mhm.
She had no answer. And so, and I'm opening up the phone lines, man. If anybody want to give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know why you think people hate Minister Farrakhan, or why do you dislike him? I'm not even gonna say hate. Why do you dislike him if you do? Give us a call and let's talk about that for a second. I would love to have listen to somebody else's viewpoint because I do not dislike the. As a matter of fact, I love the brother. I really do.
Mhm.
And I'm not ashamed to let anybody. I say it publicly right here in front of the world. I love the brother, man. I do. I
Right.
do. And so if somebody want to like me or not listen to me or whatever the case because of the fact that I say that, God bless you. God bless you. That's all I can say. God bless you. Um, I heard somebody say, well, he's a separatist or he's this or he's that or he's um create hate and all that stuff. They try to say that. Leonard, what do you say to that?
I mean, I wouldn't know what they were talking about. I wouldn't make any assumptions about him that way.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would ask them, tell me what you think
Mm-hmm.
and why you feel the way you feel, because
Mm-hmm.
that is why you're responding the way you're responding, not what
Mm-hmm.
other people say or what you heard or what have you. And if you
Mm-hmm.
internalize that some way that's negative, it's your responsibility to explain that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because one, if I don't like you, I'll tell you why I don't like you
Exactly. And have reasons for it.
and have explicit reasons for it
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
challenge you on every last one of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Facts
Mm-hmm.
are facts. Your feelings are your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You call somebody something that don't make them that.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. One,
No.
I mean, you people talk about he's a separatist or whatever. What makes him so separate?
Mm-hmm.
He been right here with you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I've never heard, and I've been listening to the brother for a long time. I've never heard him say that you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not invited,
no.
you're not. He's never said that. I've never. People say he said it, but produce a clip where he show me where he said that.
But that's what that's what I love the most about him is he defends all of the lies and everything that people say. Now,
Mm-hmm.
whether you satisfied or not, that's personal.
Mm-hmm.
Once the truth is evident, if you choose to lie, that makes you the fool.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But some people they choose to lie.
Yeah.
And they do it every day and they do it regularly. And they hope one day that it'll be right.
Mm. Man, just the sound of that sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah. That's just that ignorance looks a lot like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because a lot of ignorant people, I wonder what they think when they see themselves on tape or recorded and they play back some of the things that they say. Have you ever dealt? That's very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Ignorant people are just and who refuse to do better and refuse the truth and I don't even like to associate with them type of people.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, man, we're gonna move on to something else. As a matter of fact, I'm
And
going to
I
come to you.
separate myself from those people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from
Quickly.
ignorant, wicked, evil people.
And see, a lot of times, what people don't understand, and this is funny. What people don't understand, sometimes we do that to save them, to save them. Because if I stay around you long enough and you acting like that, man, I might do something to you.
No, I am going to do something to you.
I say might, you know what I mean? I say might, but Leonard, he go a little further with it than I do. But I might just end up doing something to you in order to save you.
Mhm.
I separate myself from you.
Right.
Now, when I separate myself from you and I put that distance between you and I, don't close that distance.
Exactly.
I separated myself from you because I didn't want to be in your company. I didn't want to be by you at that particular time. So don't close the distance. Leave that distance. Please leave the distance.
And it's not so much difference than it's not so much different than the theory of sanctification.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In order to preserve myself, sometimes I have to separate myself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I
And
don't
that's
if I
it.
don't want to live like you live, I don't have to live like you live.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to
Mm-hmm.
separate myself from you.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be separate from wicked things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let me ask you this way, and we switching up while staying the same.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people, and one of the movies that I love, man, Higher Learning. At the point in that movie, they say, "Wake up, wake up." Does people do you think majority of the people really knows what that means to wake up?
Of course, like a lot of things that people wear out, it's watered down.
Mm-hmm.
The issue where they're using it now is they're being too assertive about it
Mm-hmm.
because one, a lot of people use it based on their understanding.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you got some people, as soon as they learn something new, they think you stupid
Yeah.
and they think
Yeah.
you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So then they'll use this phrase that become popular, wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you what makes you think I haven't been awake?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think I'm stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad because, you know, it's funny. You read one book, now you smarter than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what's going on now all of a sudden. So knowledge is what it is. It's always been there. You can't assume just because you found out that don't nobody else know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I wait for people to tell me they don't know.
Yeah.
People come to come and say, "Man, tell me a little bit more about this,"
Mm-hmm.
rather than "That's stupid. This man. That's you don't understand."
And that's a totally different conversation. If they come to you like that, man, man, I tell me a little bit more about that, man. Clarify that, or I would say a lot of time I say qualify that for me. And it's a much different conversation if somebody come to you and say, man, that's stupid. That don't make no sense, man. That's just the craziest thing in the world. I ain't no man. That don't matter. That's a totally different conversation that you're going to have with that person in the way that they come to you and approach you.
Everybody does not have to see things the way you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Even you may
Mm-hmm.
not always agree, but
Mm-hmm.
I am more individual than anything.
Yeah.
So I respect other individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't agree with me on things, I still respect you.
Yeah.
We just have different points of view.
Mm-hmm. And see, and one of the beautiful things about it, I guess I can say it like this as well. One of the beautiful things about the morning glow, we don't always agree on everything, man.
Mm-mm.
We don't
No,
always agree.
not at all.
And everybody have their right to have their opinion on how they feel about it, because
Hmm.
I can't come to Leonard and say, Leonard, no, man, no, the experience is like this, this is what it is, blah 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 blah. I can't tell him what his experience was on the situation.
Right.
It's his experience. Maybe my experience may have been a little different, but that don't mean that he didn't have his too. I could
That's right.
talk. I could talk
And
about my experience and what I encountered or what I went through in that particular time
hmm
from where I am.
that's right.
I can't give Leonard his opinion as to how he feel about it. Go ahead, brother.
It's just that you know that's the challenge of being community, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the challenge of living civil with one another. America is a great place for that.
Mm-hmm.
because in other places you don't have these for some of these freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
until you've been in those places, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
simply don't. Anyone who thinks that it's okay to kill other people because they don't worship the gods you worship are fools.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There are people I don't want to associate with.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in freedom of religion. I don't care what religion.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of religion. If I want freedom, other people should have freedom.
Exactly.
Do unto
Exactly.
others as you would have them do unto you.
And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, man, and I tell people this all the time, that term religion, throughout history, religion has killed more people than anything else. Religion.
Men, let's start saying evil men have used religion to
Mm-hmm.
justify their
Mm-hmm.
evil behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. That's good. And so, and that's what it is, man. When you put it in the hands of man, ain't no telling which turn it's gonna take.
Hmm.
Ain't no telling what it's going to recreate. To the act of recreating and creating other lives. It was supposed to be a beautiful. It was created to be a beautiful thing. It was created to be something that was absolutely beautiful. It's something that a man and woman come together to replenish and continue what we are and who we are. But certain individuals will come into something and take something so that was created to be so beautiful, Leonard, and turn it absolutely ugly, sick, demented, and they have no shame in doing that. Talk. Let me get a phone number 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Leonard, talk to me about that, man. Man has an ability, a crazy, sick ability to turn something beautiful ugly. Why do you say that is?
Well, first of all, I don't approach things as what they what their intentions were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how beautiful the intention was. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that way. However, I think that people have perverted natural things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that. And they
Okay.
have perverted natural things because of their consorting with evil spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I believe that men do not take full responsibility for their power and dominion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you have a lot of power to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take your power and you get in league with evil things, you become that.
Mm.
You could
Mm.
you could choose to do that which is good, or you can choose to do that which is not good.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not that
How
it's
does
not
one separate? How does one separate? How does one separate, Leonard?
choose.
Mm.
Choose. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about choice. That's your power.
Mm-hmm.
The power to choose. Everything does not have that power.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. A lot of beings, the other created beings, don't have that power that men have. So if you are not using that power and you choose to behave like a dog,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what you begin to resemble a dog.
Mm-hmm. How corruptive? We got to call it. We got to go to the phone line as well in just 1 second. But how corruptive can that choice be?
Oh, very, very. That's why people are in the situations that they are in.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of a lot of time, it's because of their choices. Now, there are
Mm-hmm.
obvious things that you can't choose. You
Mm-hmm.
can't choose whom gave birth to you.
Yes. Mhm. Absolutely.
You can't choose what time the sun will rise.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand that which is beyond you and what is you are in control of,
Mm-hmm.
and focus on that thing, on
Mm-hmm.
controlling you, because that is a huge job and
Yeah.
responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Does people at some point in time give that choice away and allow other people to make those choices for them?
All the time, every day, and
Mm.
then pretend like they did not do
Okay. Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, it's. I'm sure the examples are going to call in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you those things because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's been that way since I've been here.
Mm-hmm. Can't see it changing no time soon.
I'm not even looking for that. It's just that one, you have to have a desire. Most
Mm.
everybody don't want to change.
Yeah.
There are some people who
Exactly.
are completely satisfied with how they live and things of that nature, regardless of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that never want to do what's necessary to move up
Mm-hmm.
because they're more comfortable being down.
Wow. Wow.
It's comfortable.
I know we have Curtis. Curtis, we're gonna come to you in 1 second, but I know, and Curtis lived in Columbia as well for a long time. As a matter of fact, that's where we met, in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hmm.
And I talked to some of the people that's in Columbia, South Carolina, still to this day, and they complain and they complain about Columbia. Columbia ain't doing this. Columbia ain't that. And I said, man, bro, why don't you just move, man? If you're having such a hard time in Columbia, South Carolina, and you're not advancing, and all this stuff is against you here. And if you know this, why don't you just move, man? Get yourself together, go somewhere else and start over. Man, I can't do that because of this and that. I said, no, you just want to complain.
You just
You
want to
just want to,
complain.
yeah, you just want to be a complainer because
That's
I've given
all.
you yeah, I've given you an option. As a matter of fact, I got one friend, he lived there in Columbia, South Carolina, complains all the time. Got a brother that lives in Charlotte. And his brother told me, man, look here, man, it's only like about 45 minutes an hour. Come to Charlotte, start over here. You can move in with me for a while till you get on your feet and blah blah blah. And there you go. Man, I ain't got money to do this. Man, you just want to complain, brother.
That's
You
all.
just want to that's all you want to do. You want to complain. I can't sit here, man, because it's
I
too
got to
draining.
separate myself from you.
Exactly. I can't sit here, man. It's too negative, man. You got so much negative going on with you, man. I can't be a part of that energy, man. No, if you want to stay here and water that, that's fine. Go ahead, brother. Do you. But I can't be here because you're draining me right now.
Right.
You're draining my energy, man. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's going on, babe?
What's
What's
going on
going
with you,
on?
man? We're talking about the situation with the people, man, and choices, and how sometimes the example I just gave, man. I got a friend in Columbia, South Carolina. You live there as well, man, and a lot of people in Columbia, they will complain about it all day long, but won't make a difference. Won't do anything different. He got a brother in Charlotte, an hour. Charlotte, North Carolina is only an hour from Columbia. It's only an hour. Go straight up the road, and you right there. Um, his brother said, "Come stay with me, man." His brother's doing well in Charlotte. Grew up in Columbia. They grew up in the same place. His brother's in Charlotte. He said, come and move in with me, man. Start over here. I can't do this because I get Curtis. Man, look, to me, that's so negative, and that energy is draining. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? You might have a different take on it.
Well, I mean, for me, what you guys are saying is that, I mean, y'all going for a certain targeted populace. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that targeted populace actually says that, does that, believes that because um, those like yourselves have figured out, look, it's just not going to happen here. It's time for me to get on through.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even gauge a situation like that on people who think like that because already, truth be told, if they was to relocate, they probably still wouldn't get it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so comfortable in complaining and so comfortable with being denied and this, that, and the third, that they wouldn't even know how to actually put it together to get it together. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My big thing is I hope that we don't, I hope that we never lose sight of the why.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we don't ever become what has been perpetrated on us for years. because when that happens, then all is lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because some complaints, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Some complaints are valid.
Mm-hmm.
Some complaints are valid, and some complaints are complaints because folk literally are working and trying to cause change.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, in whatever season, there's a pocket of people that do not want that change to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't speak wholeheartedly. When I think about it, I can't stand a complaint that does not have a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come complaining to me and you don't have any solutions, or you're not working towards finding a solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because the complaint then has no weight and it has no merit. You know, if we got a problem with dirty drinking water and you're not saying, look, hey, I got a homeboy that does plumbing, he can come in and pull those pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come to me complaining about the dirty drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not see, here's my thought, man, and I'll just sum it up like this. This country has gotten so used to governing itself. This country and the people thereof have gotten so used to governing themselves like a reality TV show, which is from one drama to the next,
Mm-hmm.
one drama to the next, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten so used to doing that we have abandoned the idea of being a solutions-based society. We done abandoned that. So everybody want to complain about an issue, but all at the same time, nobody wants to give a solution
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wants to look like their solution failed. But all at the same time, hell, everything that has been deemed successful came from several failures. I think they say Thomas Edison tried to recreate the light bulb 119 times before he got it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, people like that, man, I just kind of, I feel you. I'm kind of like, yo, I stay away from them because I don't want them draining my energy. But all at the same time, I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. I don't have time to hear you complain and complain and complain, but you're not telling me not one solution
Mm-hmm.
because you're not helping the problem. You're causing for a problem to become stagnated and always exist. So I don't want to hear that, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
It's a lot of like what Curtis mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
What's the solution?
Yeah.
I'm not that concerned about what was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more about the solution. How you gonna fix it? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not finna have meetings with you and talk to you about the same thing over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let you waste my time.
Come on.
What are we going to do next?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we going to? What is anyone going to do? You need to solve your problems. How did you
Mm-hmm.
jump from your problems all the way to everybody else's problems? Focus
Mm-hmm.
on you. We who fool?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got no problem.
Done turn French on me all of a sudden. We.
I got a problem
Mm-hmm.
that I have to fix. Can you help me fix my problem?
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you fix yours? But that is really going to be the substance of any relationship that anyone has with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very strict about that, who I associate with.
Mm-hmm.
And some stuff just not acceptable. I don't have to accept all your crap.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You just dumping on people and expecting everybody to shovel that crap around. No.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to sit here and listen to all your garbage to get along with you. I rather be a
I
part.
really don't. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
anybody whom I've dealt with will tell you that whatever you will call, whatever somebody said about you, whatever you have done,
Mm-hmm.
choose this day who you will serve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't care what they said about you or what mistakes you may have made.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do today? Well, why
Mm-hmm.
you love them streets so much when them streets ain't done nothing for you
Nothing.
but cause you pain and despair?
Mm-hmm.
Then that
Don't
must
take
be what you like.
don't take long.
It don't take long.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're giving your loyalty to some of the most rotten things.
Mm-hmm.
What you loyal to? Prostitution. What you
Come on.
loyal to? Theft. What
Mm-hmm.
you loyal to? Rape. What you
Mm-hmm.
loyal to? Menacing your neighborhoods.
And I see, and we got another call. We're gonna go to the caller. I've seen several times people will say, man, either you either with me or you against me, man. You and see the thing that they trying to get you to do is something that's evil, cruel, and rotten.
And you loyal to it. Some of
Yeah,
you are loyal to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
profess it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why we need them cages.
Man, look here, man. You ain't down, brother. You ain't, man. You what? You ain't what, man? You ain't down, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't down.
What you getting ready to go do? Oh, we getting
Mm-hmm.
ready to go. We getting ready to go shoot up a barbecue.
Yeah. You went. You down, right? You down with us?
Really? That's what you getting ready to
Nah,
go do?
nah, bro.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
you loyal to? You loyal to destroying your community.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the job you've done.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Tucson. Tucson. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right. You know, I have to check out to see what y'all talking about because they looked at the other conversation,
Mm-hmm. Now, see that.
especially on way out Wednesday. I can't find out because ain't no subject.
Yeah. Now, Tucson, look at here. Now, one of your boys come to you. One of your boys come to you. You know, he want to live that quote unquote that gangster lifestyle. He want to be a gangster. He want to be a thug. He come to you one evening, knock on your door. Hey man, look here, man. I need you to come take a ride with me, man. Okay, bro. Where we going, man? This cat now here, man. He just won a lot of money on the lottery, man. We got to go kick his door in. Man, look here, look here. We need one more person, Tucson. We need one. I thought about you, man. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna kick this door in and get this money, man. I know you down with that, right? Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go.
I know you. I know you didn't think of me. I know you did. You still need one. You should have never knock on my door.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, man? I had a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me and my cousin, my first cousin. He needed a ride on the other side of town, and I took him. But when I got to the house that he asked me to take him to, he went in and came out with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and he got in, and the guy got in the car,
Here we
in
go.
my car.
Mm-hmm. Here we go, Leonard. Here we
And
go.
I'm saying to myself, myself, and I told him, I said, "Hey man, what's y'all plan? Oh man, we're gonna just cut a couple of corners. We're gonna just in who car?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I looked at my cousin and said, "Man, you need a ride."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're gonna include me
Mm-hmm.
in your plan. Evidently, they had evidently talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's my car,
Mm-hmm.
and the scheme was, and that's my cousin. we tight. I knew his cousin, but I ain't tight with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I remember when my dad, my brother, and he came with my brother and my dad to my house, and he didn't too much care about for his brother because his brother was left with the property.
Mm-hmm.
His father passed.
Okay.
And somebody called his daddy's name, his brother's name, and started yelling in my house. Well, I had shot in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I know, my daddy was saying, "You was finna shoot him."
Yeah.
He sure was. I said, "Man, I'm the only one all in my house."
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So anyway, I'm just saying, I don't know nobody. Don't include me. Don't call me right here. Talk about me and you. And I don't think it don't work out if you call Linda either.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Exactly.
Curtis either.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis will help you. Curtis will try though.
Curtis, go with me. I can carry Curtis ride or die, right? Curtis ride or
Curtis will
die.
he'll try to talk you out of it. Curtis try to talk you out of it.
On the way there.
Yeah. He'll try to talk
Oh, okay, okay. Curtis, what you say to that, man? You'll try to.
Let Kurt speak for himself.
They gonna just include you.
Right. I'm gonna try and talk you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna try and talk you out of it. I'll tell y'all right now the first thing I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Fools and dummies don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had to be a dummy if you even thought I was gonna ride with you on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I got to be a fool if I'm getting in the car with you to ride in my car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fools and dummies don't mix, brother. So if you don't get, I can't say the choice words. You don't get your man. You can't kill him. I might even kill him for the lead because he might get paranoid and go and pull a job and then say, "Well, Kurt, no, I did it."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But fools and dummies don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little something from Short Bus. You know. No, man. No, I don't get down like that. You can call me a whole lot of things. And one thing a person ain't gonna never be able to call me is a thief.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Now, Curtis, me and Leonard talked about this a little bit earlier, man. What does it mean in this day and time? Because it's been pushed out there for a long time. When people say wake up, you're not woke. What does that mean? What are they really saying?
That just means that you're acting like you're not in the know. That just means you're acting like you're not in tune with the realities. Boy, I'd be so bad I'm going to trade this thing today. Hey, lady, that means that you're not existing in the realities of today. You know, there's some realities that's going on that, in all honesty, man, although very inconvenient because folks are being put in a situation where you have to admit that you have been played the fool.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to admit that they have been played the fool and or taken advantage of.
Yes, sir.
Who wants to admit that? Name one person that you know that openly want to admit that somebody has played them like they were dumb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to admit that.
Exactly. And Tucson in that song, everybody plays a fool sometimes. There's no exception to the rule. Tucson, have we all been played the fool in relationships? Tucson, you there?
You say what now?
Have we all been played the fool in a relationship?
Oh man, don't even talk to me. Oh, that must have flashbacks again. A fool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a worse word than a fool?
Mm.
Man, you know what? When I said this before, I wish you would bring me some of these Georgia peaches.
Mm. Would you be in trouble, brother? He ain't gonna answer that question.
I do you the same way I did my cousin. Man, get out of my car.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, Leonard,
Now, I'm telling you, boy, you just see the fool look with his eyes.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, oh, I tell you, and I'm saying, man, look, some of the most beautiful women that I know the, I don't know what they eat in Georgia and Atlanta area, Florida and California.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want no parts of none of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
he done
They say that some of these women listening.
he don't target the 3 states specifically that he don't want to, Leonard, he just targeted 3 states just like that. And go ahead, Leonard.
Man, that's just funny to me. Everybody knows their weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
trust me, everybody knows their weakness. You know that there are sometimes you let your guard down
Mm-hmm.
or what have you, but I like more so the way Kurt said about no one wants to feel like they've been played or taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a common human characteristic. No one wants to feel like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people really like, when you say taken advantage of or lied to,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it is best that we do everything to make ourselves the best that we can be. I
Mm-hmm.
can't make you the best that you can be before I do that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, if we like, say for instance, when we say that we are Christian, that's more so saying that we have a belief system
Yes.
related to the teachings of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what other people may interpret that to be could be something completely different. I'm a gospel Christian,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which means I believe in that salvation.
Come on.
However, some of y'all do a lot of things that's just stuff y'all don't made up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not pertinent to salvation. So I tend not to stress over certain things
Mm-hmm.
that
Come on.
some other Christians may, you know. It's not that everybody else be Christian, but that I be Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problem with being that by myself in a room full of people. I mean, it's not about you and me. You know what I'm saying? It's about how I choose and what I choose to stand for. Just like the
Mm-hmm.
honorable minister. The minister is honorable because he has stood for this for so long. He holds the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are people who choose to live beneath the standard.
Yes.
That's not his fault. It's your fault. Matter
Mm-hmm.
of fact, if you don't want to have nothing to do with it, you don't have to. But those
Mm-hmm.
people who have been in turmoil and despair, who have been seeking to better their lives, have found a better way. And this has been that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why there are so many people in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
This is why there are so many Christian people who are coming out of lies and despair looking for light because they have lived in darkness for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're not woke to that, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we asked a question earlier, and I want to hear your take on this right here, man. I was looking at an old clip, and I said I was gonna look it up. I gotta get back on it and look that up. There's an old clip, the Donahue show. You probably seen it. Minister Louis Farrakhan was on this show,
I watch it
and
all the time.
and there was a young lady in the audience, and she didn't like the minister at all. She didn't like him, and she let it be known she didn't like him. And he was talking, and the minister was talking to her, and he's pretty much set her up the way he got the conversation. He set her up, and he said, "My dear sister, let me ask you a question. Why do you hate me?" And so even this is now 2022. Curtis, why do so many people hate the minister? Curtis?
Yeah, I'm here. My bad. I had to hit the mute button. Why do so many people hate who?
The minister, Minister Farrakhan.
Man, people, listen. To be confronted with truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't deal with that, man, because they find out that their whole existence is based on some form of a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're not the ones that perpetuated it, it's based on a lie. That's why you hear a lot of times in the reparations argument, you hear folks say, well, I didn't do that to you, so why should I have to pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, I know exactly what clip you're talking about because I done watched it several times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I done watched it several times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was brilliant the way he kind of broke her down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's confront what's real here. Not what we believe to be real, but what is actually real, what is actually going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of people in those situations, they're definitely scared of that truth, brother. Like, that's an element of truth that you can't deny it. And nowadays, if you try and Google it, it'll pop right up, bing,
Mm-hmm.
right in your face, the way you can see it for what it is. It's just like, for example, you got a whole bunch of people that's getting ready to start flipping.
Mm-hmm.
They get ready to start turning state. You know why? Because there was truths about this man who they threw all their weight behind and all they money and they backing behind. Well, now all of those truths is coming out as to what it was you was backing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got a choice. I can either continue to back this foolishness, or I'm confronted with the harsh reality that, hold on, this particular person did not believe in anything that I believed in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confronted with the fact that, hold on, I've been bamboozled. Hold on. Now, when you look at it from that perspective, how many people want to actually admit that they've been had, that they've been took,
Mm-hmm.
that they've been run amok? You know, nobody wants to admit that, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Exactly.
just my opinion.
That's good. That's good. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
What do they call him? How do they pronounce when they mention Farrakhan? What do they say? How do they call his name in full?
Mm-hmm.
The Honorable Louis Farrakhan, right?
Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody like nobody honorable.
Come on.
And see him, this guy, that's my brother right there. I'm telling you. I know he Muslim, I'm Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my claim and that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, sir.
But see this dude here, he don't cut no corners with nobody and he don't care how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he'll say what he feel like saying to the point where you know it's truth.
Mm-hmm.
And people have problems with seeing themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't have no problem showing you up. But when you show them up, then that's what the problem starts.
That's what the problem is. Exactly.
And that's the problem. And that's just me. I listen to him. Have you ever taken? I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Taken out the time to put your beliefs to the side and just listen to the man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm gonna tell you
He'll
something.
tell you. He said, "Ain't nobody." And who told you Muslims don't believe in Jesus?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
He said, "I just don't believe in your Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and neither do I."
Mm-hmm.
What white man? What Jesus white man got?
Mm.
Or black man? Or green man? Purple man? I don't care what man. Let me say one of the other thing that I thought I heard him say. Who discovered religion? Where
Mm.
that come from?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How religion gonna get you into heaven or wherever you want to go? Wherever you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever just listen to the guy? It kind of reminds me of, you know, I heard him say one time. He said, "I know you want to kill me, but the way you kill me, they're gonna kill you."
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's
He
good.
reminds me of the type of person, and I don't mean what his. I'm gonna go ahead and say what I see. Jesus would call the scribes and the Pharisees a bunch of hypocrites and vipers.
Mm-hmm.
You think that didn't make them mad?
Yes, it did.
He'll tell them. He says, "Look, you ain't gonna take my life. I'll lay it down,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody take my life."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the type of mentality that the minister Louis Farrakhan has is the type of character and mentality a lot of people need to have.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
might be disliked, but who wants to be liked by everybody?
Mm-hmm.
That's a fool right there.
Yes, sir.
That's the type of person to get in a car just because their friends say, "Come on,
Mm-hmm. And
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 I'll visit you once a month
and and
because you
and
going to jail, fool."
and that gavel gonna hit real hard when it come down. That gavel's gonna hit real hard, brother.
I'm
Just
trying to tell you.
yes, sir. Yes,
Trying
sir.
to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Let it talk to me, brother.
So I
I'm
so
sorry. Go.
I just look at. I know. I just look at Farrakhan and I say, "Man, you know what? That's my type of dude
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for real."
Exactly. Exactly. Let it talk to me, brother.
You know me, always been a student of the nation. I love this Malcolm X. I love Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan
Mm-hmm.
because they have presented infallible truths
Yes, sir.
that the deceiver and the liar
Mm-hmm.
cannot reject.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that,
Hey,
you
Leonard,
are honorable.
turn your volume up a little bit. I know we had turned it down yesterday. Turn it up just a little bit now. It's a little low this time.
Hmm.
Turn it up for me a little bit.
So, it is up to individuals who they like and don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You get, a certain way. I still don't understand why, you know, how easy it is for the deceiver to convince black people not to like him.
Come on. Come on.
However, one, I believe that Elijah Muhammad is a prophet to the black man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a black man, you might want to read that. I ain't say
Mm-hmm.
you had to agree. I ain't even said you had to follow him or anything like that. But at
Just get the
least
knowledge.
heed the words of
Mm-hmm.
the prophet.
Mm-hmm.
So why you find fault with it, you explain it to people. I'm not gonna make up a story for you. But I do know in due time it shall be revealed what it is who you should have been listening to,
Mm-hmm.
whom you should have taken heeded the words that they say. Truth is truth. It don't matter who's saying it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
all these other folks showed up with lies, and this brother shows up with the truth, and he is
Mm-hmm.
hated for that.
Mm-hmm.
We hate people that are trying to eat the best food and be healthy and do this and do that. It's not hard to hate people doing the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you too weak to do it.
Mm-hmm. Or have no desire to do it at all.
No, people who don't have a desire don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people who want to but don't are too weak
Mm-hmm.
to. that got the problem. See, that's where all that complaining come from. That's where that hatred come from. It comes from weakness.
Mm-hmm.
See, you see a strong man and you hate him.
Mm-hmm.
You see a man that stands for principle. He don't waver in the wind like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know how some people, well, Leonard, can't you kind of? No, I can't.
No.
No, I simply can't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're unhappy with how you handle things, you should get help for that. But trust me, my brother, I am no more weakened than any other individual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if being black is your weakness and causing you such a problem, you got to go get some help.
Mm-hmm.
All of us black men ain't sick.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have problems being black.
Yes, sir. Come on.
We
Mm-hmm.
don't have everybody wasn't raised like you raised. Everybody ain't went through what you went through. Some of us was taught the correct way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether we choose to do it or not is our choice. But we know the way. We
Mm-hmm.
follow the truth and the light. And because you don't, it's not our problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Curtis?
Yeah, what up, man?
Yeah, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, I don't have nothing to say. The brothers done said it all.
Mm-hmm.
For real. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, only thing I can say to add to that is, in the midst of all of that, we can't lose sight of those who was trying and those who was pushing, but for whatever reason, their narratives are being taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't lose sight of those. You know what I mean? We've been on this phone and we've been talking. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it like this right here. I'm gonna say two words. I'm gonna say two words that'll sum up how we should be moving, why we should be moving, and who we should be moving for.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Freeman.
Mm.
I don't have to say nothing after that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to say nothing after that.
Wow. Wow. Tucson. Tucson, you there?
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Change it up for a second. I'm gonna ask you this question. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something? You want to say something? That go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Tucson, when you're laughing, and this is totally different. This is totally different. When you're laughing, there's a joy, a peace, a calmness, a happiness, if you will, that comes over you when you laugh. When you in that, when you have that laugh where you just can't control it, man. You just falling all over laughing, man. And in the back of your head hurt because you're laughing so hard. Can we capture laughter? How do we capture that moment? How do we hold on to that feeling of joy that we have when we're laughing? Because when you're laughing, man, that's something real good going on at that moment. Funny and all kind of things. How do we capture that?
Mm. I guess what laughter is that medicine that hits the very core of what really
And you get my unique.
Go ahead.
makes you feel that type of way. That's the only way that I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes even in church, I'll bust out and laugh. I'm talking. It tickles me sometimes to how God reacts to us when we don't deserve it. That's fun. That's not funny to me. But I'll bust out into that type of laughter that you're talking about because it's kind of like, man, that's amazing.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's just me
Mm-hmm.
because we think, that's good medicine, laughter. That's
Yep.
why you hear me joking and clowning a lot. I'm
Absolutely.
not a clown. I just have to find my place in all of this maze of mess in life. So I choose in finding my place a place to continue,
Mm-hmm.
and that's laughter. I'm talking about that's the best medicine. It tickles me how people, foolishly people, are running around here and they act like nothing's going on when this world falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
hear me chuckle?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, we going about it like we the best country in the world. That tickles me to
Mm-hmm.
hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I laugh about that. I laugh when it comes to 774 million people without our food.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and here we are celebrating like we got a victory. That's
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
How we want to be entertained, even in our I can't say that. We seem like sometimes we jumping on churches. It's not church. It's the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we discredit Muslims and Christians, and we fight the same fight, and we don't even
Mm-hmm.
know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Come on.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the reality of seeking truth, and here because you don't believe exactly the way that I believe, and we're talking from the same books, and if you hide the title of the book, it reads the same.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't call myself what you call yourself, then I'm your enemy. That's
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
I
Exactly.
almost said, well, because I wish Cassandra was on by now, because I'll probably take her place and say that tickles the hell out of
Exactly. Carolina, what do you say to that, man? How can we capture that joy? How can we capture laughter?
Man, I think comedians are the greatest people in the world for that.
Yes, sir.
Because comedians all want one thing is to make you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Name a comedian that doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And
They just want to make you laugh.
mm-hmm.
They believe that laughter is the best medicine. They present truths to you that may be horrible,
Mm-hmm.
but they get to you to look at certain things the way that makes you laugh, that lifts
Mm-hmm.
your spirits, that makes you look at things from a different point of view.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is important. I try to laugh all the time, even when my spirit is weak, low. I go put on a TV show that makes me laugh. I listen to
Mm-hmm.
music that makes me laugh, because
Mm-hmm.
the life ain't funny
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly.
And so, big shout out to all those comedians who have chosen to do that for a living,
Mm-hmm.
making people laugh. That's an amazing thing. It's a very compassionate thing to have a desire to just want to make people laugh and enjoy themselves.
Now let me add this into it if you don't mind. We got another call. I want to go to that call in just 1 second as well. But it's a beautiful art, and when somebody does it well, I mean, there's nothing like it. There's certain comedians, man, that wants to get up, like Bernie Mac was one. I don't care what kind of mood I'm in. I can listen to Bernie Mac and I'm gonna laugh like crazy. That's just he was just funny to me.
Hmm.
But comedians, though they have the task of making you laugh, and it's a beautiful assignment, are they always happy?
Doesn't matter. They
Mm-hmm.
are committed to making you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's their
Mm-hmm.
mission.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's their mission. They may have something horrible going on in their lives,
And a lot of times they do.
but they'll come on stage. That's the way they make a living, and your laughter helps them.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. Name someone else who does that.
Richard Pryor. Richard
No,
Pryor
not
was.
personal, other than comedians.
Okay. I can't.
What if everyone decided to commit to making other people laugh
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that as a
How
mission.
beautiful. How
It's a
beautiful would this
beautiful
world?
thing, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
some people don't find certain things funny, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where we get into where it has become more adversarial with some people
Mm-hmm.
because they don't think it's funny, but some people do. All jokes ain't funny.
Mm-hmm.
You just trying it out.
Mm-hmm.
All comedians aren't good people,
Yeah.
but they were trying to make somebody laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that that is a good thing to want to make people laugh and enjoy themselves. Everybody don't share that same belief.
Exactly.
Some people
Exactly.
don't want you to enjoy yourself. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, how stupid is it for you to come to somebody that's enjoying their life, but you going to tell them they're a slave, they'll
Mm.
never amount to nothing, and it's a white man's world, and they ain't
Mm-hmm.
got no choice.
Mm.
But they laugh, joking, and living their best life.
Mm-hmm.
Who you gonna listen to?
Um, what was the name of this? I think it was a Soldier Story. I know you saw the movie
Oh
A
man, I
Soldier.
love that. That was an excellent show.
Yes, and the guy that played the guitar all the time, he was always so
Yes,
happy.
indeed. God rest his soul.
Yes, sir. He was always so happy, man. And they tried, and the Saws tried to break him and try to do everything they could do because the man was so happy all the time playing that guitar.
J.
Say
Huh?
his name, Kurt.
CJ Memphis. I played him on
C-
stage.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Yep.
Yeah.
CJ. That was the character's name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That man, look at that dude, man. And you believe that he was just that happy all the time. I don't understand what you're trying to do, Sarge. I don't understand why you treat me like you treat me, Sarge. And but he was just he was a happy spirit, man.
Hey, Raheem,
Yes, sir.
you know what's the irony in that character?
What's that?
Do you remember where he was from?
He
Mississippi, I
was a
think it was. Huh?
Geechee.
Yeah, yeah. I
He
think
was he was from Mississippi.
yeah,
Yes,
Mississippi. Uh-huh.
indeed.
He was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was from deep down in Mississippi. So when you think about it, I believe it's Charles Fuller. I always get the writer mixed up between Charles Fuller and August Wilson, but it's Charles Fuller. Charles
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuller wrote that play. Now, when you think about where he was from, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you think about the time for which uh, a soldier story or a soldier's play, because a soldier story is the movie that was a derivative of the play.
Mm-hmm.
The play was first, the movie came second.
Yes.
And you think about the time for which the time period that the play is written in. How hard is it for a African American man, a black man, to be happy-go-lucky like he was
Mm-hmm.
during that time, coming from where he came from?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm.
That's the irony, and that's the underlying message, and what actually happened in that play, and even down to him giving his life, because realistically he gave his life.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take it; he gave it, um, because he could have easily went in the reverse, and Saul Waters would have lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back and when you get a chance, go back and watch it and listen specifically to his dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many jewels and 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 there's so many jewels that he give you. There's a line in there where he says something to the effect of, "Look at him, Carl. There got to be something wrong with that man for
Yeah.
that man to be that angry."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said, I feel sorry for Sarge. Really, to tell the truth, I
I
feel
feel
sorry. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
Sarge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So um, that was a good comparison.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mary, good morning. How you doing, Mary? How you
Good
doing this
morning.
morning?
How are you?
Doing good, doing
Good. How
good.
are you?
Mary, we asking the question, how can we capture laughter? Because when somebody's laughing, they're at a real good place. They're at a real good place in their life, and something was going on at that time is a place of peace. How can we capture laughter so we can spread it out and have it more often? How can we do that? That joy.
I want to put a spin on it a little bit because some people laugh to keep from crying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's always peace in laughter. I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes it could be a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Um, but I don't think there's a real way to capture it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to have ups and downs and like you can't just always be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
That roller coaster got to roll, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
And she owned it. I mean, because you ever heard you ever went to a funeral and somebody say something in the midst of all of them tears and people just be whining and crying, and somebody stands up and reminisce on a good moment in the deceased person's life, and everybody just busts out laughing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you say how you capture it, you can't. It's a medicine. It's a place. It's that moment, that thing that that occurs and dismisses everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh to keep from crying a lot. I laugh at myself
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
to, to keep from saying you crazy self. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe you did that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my sometimes I remember the things that my dad would do, and I'll call my brother up, I'll call my sister up, and we'll be especially around this time, you know, right around the holidays is when he passed. And we hear the nieces and nephews and the grandchildren and the uncles, the cousins and all that, because they used to call it. They used to have this thing about my dad when he walk in the room. If he was cussing and fussing, you just stop
Mm-hmm.
because they'd say, "Oh, Uncle James here." So, and he would have a way of saying something, but you knew that even if it was funny, he meant what he said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we would you in the midst of even a despaired moment, and you bring up something and you just bust out laughing. I thought about something and I said, I don't know if this is if you remember. Remember when that young boy whooped Cat Williams?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
He got back on stage
Mm-hmm.
and he made it funny,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but that was embarrassing to him.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
because he got whooped before before the whole world.
Yes, he did. His mama put that
But
boy in that
the way that
ring.
he took it made you still laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Might have not look at it. You may have looked at him in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Curtis. Curtis, you there?
Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, talk to me.
I said yesterday that we was going to have a conversation on based on this right here as well today. So I want to go ahead and get this in before the time get away from us. But I want you to explain the tears. Explain the tears of the vulnerable. How do you explain the tears of a vulnerable?
Man, the tears of the vulnerable. I mean, I ain't sometimes you can ask the most complicated questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Thank you.
the tears of the vulnerable, we think of trauma soon as we say the word vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you hear the word vulnerable and you hear tears, you think trauma, you think something bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a clinician, therapy, whatever you want to call it, counselor, as a counselor, you learn through experiences and seeing uh, not only dreams be deferred, but dreams come true. That you learn that the tears of the vulnerable encompasses every emotion that is known to man.
Mm. Wow.
I still remember my first time getting a homeless youth off of the street and into their very own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this person standing in their living room, empty living room, for about 10 minutes. And their back was to me. I'm moving, bags in, because really all they got is their clothes and whatever furniture we gave them. And they're standing with their back to me, and I'm moving this stuff, and I'm like, it's my first experience. And I said, hey, what's going on? You ain't gonna help me move none of this stuff? That person turned around, man, and they was crying, tears
Mm-hmm.
falling out their face.
Mm-hmm.
My first thought was what any real person would think. What's wrong? You all right? And they looked me in my face and they said, Mr. Kirk, I really got my own apartment.
Mm.
I really got my own house. Their tears were not tears of sadness.
Yes, absolutely.
They were tears of joy.
Mm-hmm.
They were tears of accomplishment. They were
Mm-hmm.
tears that, for whatever reason, let them know that, yeah, it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It can be achieved. No, I'm not less than. So, to answer your question, the tears of the vulnerable can encompass every human emotion known to man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Captain Leonard, what do you say to that, brother? How do you explain the tears of the vulnerable? I think Leonard frozen over there. Leonard?
No, I'm not
Okay.
froze. I'm thinking
Okay.
about the tears of the vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Because vulnerable people don't always cry.
Mm-hmm.
Vulnerable is a state of being, but it does not have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Vulnerable for what reason? And why would they be crying?
Mm-hmm.
Is like the story that I caught Kurt telling. It's because he
Mm-hmm.
finally accomplished something.
Yes.
That's what brought on those tears of joy.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't vulnerability. Those were tears of joy in the story that I heard Curtis mention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure when you say the tears of the vulnerable. Are
Mm-hmm.
you talking about people in hard times crying hopelessly? because that's completely different than
Mm-hmm.
Curtis' story.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about vulnerable people and their tears, it's like Kurt said, that person, he helped it made Kurt feel a way
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because that person that he had worked with was in a vulnerable place when they met.
Mm-hmm.
And to come from that point of their first meeting to this owning a place, that person may not have even had that belief when they first
Mm-hmm.
came into contact with Kurt. They didn't know how it could be accomplished or what how to go about it. But Kurt comes along
Mm-hmm.
and helps them get that,
Mm-hmm.
taking them out of a vulnerable homelessness,
Yes.
puts you in a vulnerable situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now a brother comes along and shows you and helps you with that and relieves you of that vulnerability. So that's joy, tears of joy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I look at that very differently. And that's what it is like when you meet some people. For instance, every day, I thank God that I can get up and I got heat,
Mm-hmm.
lights, a
Mm-hmm.
roof over my head. Every morning I open my eyes. I thank God for that alone. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sitting somewhere with everything I got in a backpack on my back no more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Wow.
I'm I'm not just walking on the streets, hitchhiking from place to place
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I can lay my head down in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got to sleep on the floor. I ain't got
Mm-hmm.
to sleep on nobody else's couch.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been there. Yeah, I got an apartment, but ain't nothing in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We ain't got hot water yet, but at least I got a roof over my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I can make this pallet on the floor. I don't know about you brothers, but I remember when my furniture was milk crates and boxes with towels and stuff on top of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Come on, man.
Tell the truth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I ain't had no car and
Mm-hmm.
walked, but you know what? I still was so blessed to get that apartment in what people call the hood by the train station.
Mm-hmm.
Steps. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how that person feels when they get their first place.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Accomplishment.
people who never thought it was possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal, man. Now, some of you out there who had things handed to you, think about that.
Mm.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
When you didn't even have to worry about it because somebody had already gave you all that.
Exactly.
They set you up in there. You. Matter of fact, you went from one big house to another one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't have that story.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. They wish
Some
they
people.
did.
I got a cousin didn't get his own till he was 45.
Mm.
And when you think about it, how many people are aware of this thing called late estate?
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Mm. Yeah.
They don't
You
know
Yeah.
nothing about it.
know
They
what I
don't know
mean?
nothing about it, Kurt.
Late estate?
Yeah. Yeah. They got to give up certain things in order to be able to stay and have a place. Yeah. Absolutely. I
I'm on
yeah.
you. Oh, it's a lot of brothers out there that know about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're
Exactly.
not talking about just women.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Right.
Mm.
Now, imagine if your late estate over, let's say, you're 21. So let's say over the last 7 years, your latest stay, right? Y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Your latest stay has been a different stay every 2 days.
Wow.
And for the most part, your latest stay has been at family house.
Wow.
Now imagine that. Then
Wow.
couple that and put on top of that your last year in those 7 years, your latest stay was in a bando.
Mm.
You was squatting in an abandoned house that's boarded up all the way around, all the way to the back. But you've been sneaking in the back door. You done ripped the wood paneling off the back
Dangerous.
door so that you can get in because
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want to lay the state anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you take that same person um, and you move them to a situation where this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You say who come and who go.
Mm-hmm.
You say who stay and who don't. Um, Real quick, man, just want to send out a prayer, man. The block where I run these two houses, a block down, 2 blocks down, being as though we talking about it right now. 2 blocks down at 3 o'clock this morning, um, there was a fire that burned up
Mm.
4 apartments. The row house had apartments in it, but it was a bando. It
Mm-hmm.
was boarded up. So what they found out was some folks were squatting in there. They didn't say anything about a death count or anything like that, or anybody died. But I can only imagine if they were squatting. A lot of times in the city in these abandos, folks will build a fire
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
in the house to
Yep.
stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I send out a prayer
Yes, sir. Yes,
to,
sir.
to those who was in there because they did say that it's obvious that some people were squatting in this
Yeah.
abandon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
And also remember, like say for instance, what that he brings that up because remember here in Atlanta, in one of the areas, and they went to do construction and tear down a house.
Mm-hmm.
There was a woman living in that house that was killed
Mm.
because no one checked to make I said, man, before y'all start tearing down these abandoned buildings, y'all got to go in them buildings and make sure ain't nobody in there
Exactly. Exactly.
because that's how hard it is out here. You got people in, but see, you want to believe that these crack houses and all this kind of. There are just some people in there looking for shelter, man,
Mm-hmm.
and so they go like Kurt said, they find a way to get into these buildings, and that's where they're living.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least had a common decency to go in there and make sure ain't no human beings in there
Mm-hmm.
before you start bulldozing the house.
Mm.
Especially when you know that there is homelessness and these things going on in your communities.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when he was talking about that latest stay and you always moving, always got to go find somewhere else to sleep, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or one thing I remember my mother did not tolerate, a kid couldn't come stay at our house.
Mm-hmm.
You know how some of y'all got kids that just, it used to be where I was probably still going on. A kid just starts staying at your house 2 and 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, don't you question where their parents are at?
Exactly.
Or you
Exactly.
just letting kids ain't got no business being out here by themselves that way. And is
Mm-hmm.
anybody looking for them?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that growing up, where other kids was just staying with other people because some parents didn't care. Some of them kids' parents never were at home.
Mm-hmm.
So they just went and just will stay somewhere else the majority of the time.
Mm.
And people started allowing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it. This child is probably could be from an indigent family. Somebody probably getting a check for this child and completely neglecting them.
Mm-hmm.
The money that the parents was given to buy them food never makes it to the house.
Exactly.
So it's important that if you're in a situation and you got young people, and you like learn about where they're from, who their people are, and see if
Mhm.
you can really help them. Or
Mhm.
you don't want it to be where somebody come and say you kidnapping or harboring or whatever it may be.
Yep.
Find out
Yep.
how to really help somebody.
Mhm.
Like like Kurt mentioned, and how he helps people that way. And having helped people get housing myself, you know, everybody ain't in the situation because of neglect on their
Mhm.
own part. These kids are out here in these streets sometimes because of conditions, that unlivable conditions
Mhm.
in their homes. So if you're gonna help them, really help them get to the point where, guess what, they can have their own place.
Mhm. Exactly. Mary, what's on your heart, Mary?
I'm just listening.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Good deal. Kurt. Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Now we're talking about explain the tears of the vulnerable. Is what we're talking about. Explain the tears of the vulnerable, and we explained there's two different sides. Sometimes the tears may not be sad tears, but sometimes they may be. Um, what are some of the ways, Curtis? And I know you probably come into a situation like this. What are some of the ways that you help or assist somebody to get out of that place of vulnerability?
Well, one of the biggest ways to help is to validate
Mm-hmm.
uh, certain feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be real careful because when you validate, sometimes people can validate people's feelings and they don't realize that they're being enablers.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can have this feeling, and it's okay to have this feeling, but you can't let that feeling just uh, take precedent over you being able to do and or accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you try and do is you try and validate the emotion of it all, while all at the same time trying to teach or get a person to understand how this emotion can be beneficial as well as can be crippling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in that whole validation process, there's a certain level of honesty that has to be rendered on both sides
Mm-hmm.
because all too often, what happens is if you over validate, then the particular person you're working with will then use that validation to manipulate the situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They'll use it as an excuse not to make changes,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll use it as a means to always go back to.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very, 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 very careful in your validation of that feeling. That validation must lead to some type of tutorial experience.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you taking whatever that trauma may be or whatever that situation may be, and you're utilizing that situation to put tools in a person's social and or personal toolbox for them to use later if those feelings and or emotions come to fruition again or
Mm-hmm.
come to a head again, and instead of them just being able to say, well, I felt this way because of this and this is how it always happens, um and this is why I'm just gonna just go back to later stay. They know that, okay, look, when I was doing later stay, this is how it made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like feeling that way. So I'm not going to make those choices. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So, as opposed to saying, Well, that's how it's always done, so I'm just gonna do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got you.
If that makes sense, what I'm saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of times in this world, um, people are so caught up on being victimized that that we in the industry they call it victim stancing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything is connected to their victimization, right? The way it's like, well, okay, how do we move beyond that?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel for Nisi, I really do,
Mm-hmm.
because she sees the vulnerable up close and personal, honestly, a lot more than any of us see it.
Mm-hmm. Because of her age.
We can turn, well, we can turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
We can, for example, I don't have to see the vulnerable. If I don't come in the city, if I just choose to stay at my house and stay in my neighborhood and not even come into the city, I don't see the crucially vulnerable at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Good deal. Hold
Now,
on.
I may be able to see the vulnerable as in somebody is mistreating their kids,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see the vulnerable on the ground level.
Good deal.
Whereas
Wrap
with
it up for me, brother.
Nishi,
I gotta pull somebody else into the conversation. Wrap it for me.
all right, with Nishi, she's in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, a lot of those dudes and a lot of those girls are the exact person that we was just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have homes to go to. They don't have families to lean on. I'm telling you, bro, they running. A lot of them are running from situations that you would be like, what? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That and that's absolutely true. Let's go to the phone line. We got Rico. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Congratulations to Grand Rising and everybody.
Hey, congratulations to you as well, brother. We're asking the question that we said we was gonna ask yesterday. Explain the tears of the vulnerable. Rico, how do you explain the tears of the vulnerable?
I really can't explain. I could probably explain where they come from.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
First you would have to identify the vulnerable. Some people, I think some people might not even realize exactly how to identify vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But, because, you really have to have a heart to identify vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I know you have to have a heart, because some people that have the power to increase minimum wage and make things better, they don't want to increase minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that there are vulnerable people out here in this world that need to make more money, and you ain't paying them enough. Like Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You got people that depending on your livelihood, and the tornadoes coming through, and everybody has been told to evacuate, but they're so dependent on this dollar.
Mm-hmm.
That you exploit that vulnerability and tell them that they can't leave.
Mm.
So they're stuck in that plant while that tornado come through. But I look at the most vulnerable people. To me, I look at people that are disabled, people that are too old or too young to defend themselves or protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't get to hear their tears.
Mm-hmm.
The children that do make it out of abuse and neglect, and as they get to be adults, people start questioning their decision making. Why they act like this? Why they act like that? Why don't they know the things they should know? And you don't understand that they grew up in a vulnerable household where bullying was allowed. When they went into the atmosphere, went into the environment and society, they were bullied because they were vulnerable and they didn't have people at home to support and protect them as they came up. So they caught the worst of everything.
Mm-hmm.
They caught the worst of peer pressure, impact, influence, you name it. Evil, this nastiness, they caught the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the type of world we live in. It reminds me of, I'm starting to see more of these stories. The first story I saw was maybe 2 years ago, I think right after Cupcake went missing in Birmingham, Alabama, and then she was found.
Mm-hmm.
There was another child, a little boy. He went missing at 5 or 6 years old. And at the age of 12 or 13, that's when the authorities were alerted of it. So for 6 or 7 years, this man that had his son has gone around, and nobody knew what happened to this son anymore. Now he's missing. They don't know where he is. So he's been convicted, charged with murder. Then I saw another story. Well, yesterday, some people just reporting their child missing, young child, maybe 3 or 4 years old. Somebody just reported this child missing after they haven't seen him in 2 years.
Ooh,
These custodial parents.
good Lord.
Custodial parents. Then I saw another story earlier this past week. A baby was found. They were trying to identify it. They've been trying to identify it for over 20-some years, pretty much like they did with the guy that they found that was that raped and killed that girl in Georgia. So after certain, genealogy tests, they were able to go back and trace some of his relatives, and they found the sibling of this child that was found after all these years, over 30 or 40 years. And when they talked to the sibling, they said, well, you know what? And you know what really stands out to me is that this boy was born October 2nd. That's on my birthday, 1961. And they talked to the sibling, and they was like, well, we found a child, and test, that the results say that this child is related to you. This man says, you know what? When I was a little boy, I did have a sibling, and he was sort of handicapped. Then all of a sudden, one day, he just didn't show back up no more.
The parents killed him, man.
And for 30 or 40 years, this man had to live with just, hey, I had a brother one time, and then I don't know what happened to him. So I mean, though, if you think about vulnerability, sometimes you don't even get to hear their tears because nobody hears. Nobody sees them. Nobody knows they even exist.
Exactly.
Nobody knows about the foster children that are in the cage and their nails pulled out. Nobody hears those tears. So when you talk about the vulnerable, when I think of vulnerable, I think of those people that are so vulnerable that there's nobody to witness what they're going through. Nobody that'll save them, and nobody even knows that they exist.
And so they're in a place where they really think that nobody cares. It's not that nobody cares. It's just they a lot of times don't know that things are going on, but still it doesn't change the situation for them.
Nobody was aware of.
Exactly.
Nobody was even paying attention to them from the very beginning for them to go missing in the community and I say, hey, what's going on with this child? Or the school say, hey, why didn't this child come back to school this year? Same thing with the woman that killed her 2 oldest children. The fathers have been looking for their children. They over their grandmama's house. Then all of a sudden, after 4 years, they find them children in the deep freezer.
Heartless, man.
But the community, the neighbors, and everybody just took the words of that crazy mother that said she'd do it again. They knew this woman was off the chain. They'd tell you, girl, she'll snap. Man, she's something else. And they just took the parent word, knowing she was unfit and she was crazy. That's DC, the children's services and the fathers whose hands was tied. Knowing how crazy she was, they still took her word for the children being all right instead of taking the initiative to say, you know what, man, we got to protect them children. Because sometimes the children are being bullied by the parents.
Exactly. Got a couple other callers, and the phone lines are open. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. One more time. 508-924-3521. Gonna go to Toussaint. Then we're gonna go to Cassandra. Toussaint, I want you to explain the tears of the vulnerable. Explain the tears of the vulnerable, Toussaint.
When Rico was talking, I thought about them, all of them children that were separated at the border from their parents. That could have been I got one grandchild that's born in Mexico. I met him during I don't know if it was the recent holiday. I forgot when it was. It was a couple of months ago. For the first time. The boy, 8 years old. The boy is 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him for the first time because we had to protect him by keeping him on that side of the border. Because if we tried to meet him prior to that, because of all of the drama that was going on, and they was catching families trying to cross over the border and separating them and putting kids in cages. Can you imagine that type of situation? You never know what's going on in people's lives. You hear me joking and clowning and laughing and this and that and other. But at some point, we all could be vulnerable. Now, that's a bad situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be, here you are, happy as you can possibly be, having fun playing, and all of a sudden, you make a decision, and then here they are, because they got some kind of thing or issue. I don't even know what it is. And because you're on that side and you, they call you Mexican, whatever they call it. And somebody like our leadership that we vote in, put you in a cage. It's kind of like our ancestors that all of a sudden, you kings and queens, like we say that we are, and then here you come in chains to serve other people just because they feel like it. That's vulnerable. To explain that, I can't.
Exactly. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, I want you to, and we spoke about this yesterday. I said I was going to bring this to the table today. Explain to me the tears of the vulnerable. What does that mean?
Today is 1 year that my nephew that was living with schizophrenia was killed by the police in Charleston, South Carolina. So he definitely was vulnerable, and first of all, he checked himself into a mental hospital, and then ended up being sent to a jail where within a span of 5 hours he was dead at the hand of the police. And to hear him, they have videos, and to hear him crying out, and knowing that he was suffering, he was in crisis, he had a break. That's why he had admitted himself to the hospital. These are some of the vulnerable people in our society, and it hurts and it saddens me that we have this issue with helping those that are most vulnerable, and we call ourselves the most civilized or the most advanced country in the world. I don't see it. I don't see it. We are so far behind other countries in how we deal with people with mental illness, with seniors, with people with health issues. It is sad that we still have not learned to help the vulnerable in our country. And I will do, until I die, I will do everything I can to continue to help those that are most vulnerable. And I mean that.
Absolutely. That's good. Mary, anything on your heart right now?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. Anything you want to say? Okay. Okay. Good deal. Leonard,
Yes.
talk to me, brother.
I think you heard a lot of reason why people do what they do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are in sector where it's all about helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
Nonprofit organizations usually are formed around meeting some need in society.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you want to be a part of these efforts, you have to be a part, get and join these organizations, support these organizations. You can support them in time, talent, or treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are concerned about something, you should figure out how you can help people. And the biggest arguments are around how America helps people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have clearly people who are more interested in helping others than the other side of America.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people don't want to help nobody.
Nobody. You got
Like
that
some
right.
people don't want to help people because of the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
For all the
Which is
different
it.
sorts of biases and prejudices that they
Mm-hmm.
have, they don't want to help nobody.
Yeah.
So that's what we deal with each and every day. It's not so much as me being a part of a political party,
Mm-hmm.
but the mission of New Order National Human Rights Organization is to assist the vulnerable.
Yes, sir.
That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole mission and objective of the organization. Is to help those that have found themselves in vulnerable positions.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of race, creed, color, sex, gender.
And I'm glad you said that, Leonard, because a lot of time people say, well, a lot of these groups are here, they just want to help black people. They just helping black people. Nah,
No.
I know the organization that you are a part of, man. It doesn't matter black, white, orange, polka dot, or stripe.
And it
It doesn't
depends on who's saying that too, because I have a very stern warning for those who
matter.
say
Mm-hmm.
that. Now
Mm-hmm.
you may know white organizations that don't help black people.
Mm-hmm.
Name a black organization that don't help white folk.
Yeah.
Name one.
Amen.
Name
Mm-hmm.
one.
Amen.
I want you to name one that has turned you away because you're white.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't one. It ain't one.
It ain't one.
That was you can't. That was one of the that's one of the strong argument points in certain societal circles because it said that and rightly so. I've seen it happen. I've been the product of that right there in Dublin, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, it's just like in terms of the housing situation, right? There's certain neighborhoods in American society that if you black, you better not move in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on move in there if you want to. That's at your own apparel. That's at your own peril,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then, in any black neighborhood, here's how I determined when I was young. I think I was like maybe 12 or 13. You know how I determined when things wasn't going good in American society as far as economically? You want me to tell you how I would always determine it?
How's that?
Because it is the one time when you see a large percentage of white folk in predominantly black neighborhoods at the grocery stores.
Mm.
There's a large percentage. There's a large percentage of them coming and moving back into these impoverished black communities,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how I was able to equate. Okay, something ain't going right in the economy. Something ain't going right for the masses because those people who are now in our neighborhoods, and this is no disrespect to them, rightly so. If you can't afford to live where you want to live, you got to live some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see a large percentage of them coming back into these communities because the communities are affordable, if you want to call it that. But all at the same time, um, they would move back into our communities or come into our grocery stores and they would be welcomed with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
And in many cases, um, black folks in that community would actually
feel almost sorry for them. Like, wow, you had it, you had the opportunity to have it, and now you don't have it no more. So we would feel some form of empathy for them.
You really fell on hard times,
So
huh? Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is it is obvious, and I started picking up on it when I was like, yeah, I was I was at about 12 years old because we had a shift. I want to say it was Reagan. See, a lot of people don't like to admit it, but Reaganomics crippled a lot of folk, and I'm not just talking about a lot of black folk.
Mm-hmm.
Reaganomics crippled a lot of folk because it denied a lot of folks who was living a middle class life options.
Exactly.
It took them from them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So now you're forced to have to live back in the inner city ghetto instead of living in a royal county area in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
you know, yeah, boy, man, Leonard just said a mouthful right there. Cassandra, I know you're going through it today. My prayers is with you, sis.
Mm-hmm.
If you just need to bounce something off, give me a call. I'm right here. My ears open.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Rico. Rico, let me ask you this question, man. And we switching up a little bit, um, because this is way out Wednesday. We don't have a topic, man. We pretty much talk about what we want to talk about on today. Rico and Tucson, coming to you next. Do you think, Rico, from where you're sitting and your experiences in life, do the black men really truly understand the black woman and vice versa? Do we really understand the struggles of each other?
To a certain extent, I mean, I think we do when we want to.
Mm.
Most human beings they gonna think about things that benefit them
Mm-hmm.
or things that favor their position. And when you looking at life or through the eyes that you live in it, a lot of times you can only see your point of view. That sort of goes back to that vulnerability and who's actually vulnerable. Do you have enough of an open mind to look at somebody else's point of view or position
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be compassionate enough or understanding enough of what is really going on? Because I think a certain atmosphere exists that pertains to that last question that you asked, and then what we're talking about now about black men and black women not being able to communicate or see eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that collateral damage mindset. See, in a dog eat dog world, there has to be collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
In a capitalistic world, there has to be collateral damage because you got to capitalize on somebody. Everybody can't capitalize.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
So I mean, when that mindset was developed, that made people more selfish, more individual thinking, or more group thinking. So that's why you come up with these white groups, these black groups. Everybody's just agenda driven. They have all these specific goals for specific groups because everybody is so selfish driven. The individual driven.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just the nature of the beast that we live in now. Somewhere there was a source in humanity that made it okay for you to be selfish and not worry about the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And when that was okay, when it became beneficial and somebody saw that it was, somebody saw that it was good that came out of you looking out for yourself over looking out for everybody else, then that created more vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm.
That created more powerful people that would say, well, you know what? We need to go to war. And we're going to kill some innocent people and some civilians. But that's collateral damage. And you only got a few people that's voting and deciding to making the decision to go to war. But you got hundreds of thousands of people that ain't got a weapon. They ain't got nobody in the military. And they know when that war comes, that war is coming to their backyard and their front doorstep.
Mm.
It's coming to the streets that they drive through, and a drone might mistake you for a quote unquote terrorist, but really and truly, you just a family assist.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And somebody that they hired that was good at video games They don't even know that they really killing real people, flew these drones and killed his family. When the government come back and say, oh yeah, well we killed some terrorists, but later reports proved it was a family, collateral damage in the war on terror.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So you know it trickle, that trickle effect has happened. So you know when you look at people, you just thinking about black people and white people, black men and black women, how we don't see eye to eye is because we are only looking out for our best interest. And
Selfish.
it's a disease. I think most people feel that way, and it's hard for them to actually um, sympathize
Mm-hmm.
or even see things from somebody else's point of view. I think yesterday that's why I said I like to try to put myself in other people's shoes sometimes
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
instead of always thinking about from my point of view and from my experience and how I was raised, because I know everybody wasn't raised the same. I
Mm-hmm.
know that everybody didn't have the same upbringing. They didn't have the same support system. They didn't have the same logical or caring grandparents that I had. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I have to put myself in, and I have to put myself in Antonio Brown's shoes to see why he would react the way he would when everybody wouldn't react that way before I
Mm-hmm.
just persecute him.
Exactly. Exactly. Good deal. Now, Tucson, what do you say to that, man? Do you think black men and black women see each other's struggle and recognize it?
Not so much now. I don't think not so much now as years past,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody has their own agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to arrive. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
trying to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody listens. Nobody pays attention. Nobody really cares about the next person. It's a me, mine, I society, and we look for fame and fortune. And if mentality, and it's just me, it's what I see, and it's not everybody, but for the most part, even if I have to run you over to get where I'm going
Mm-hmm.
or use you up, that's what's going to happen.
Mm. Wow.
We don't have a bunch of permanent people in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's temporary
Mm-hmm. Wow.
to their expense, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
We had a community mindset. We used to have
Yeah.
a community mindset because everybody was in a predicament where we knew that even in this country they didn't care nothing about us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Now there are some of us that think that we got it going on.
Mm.
And we look at this country or this society and we try to mimic what it takes to achieve whatever
Mm-hmm.
the heck is an American dream.
Exactly. Exactly. Leonard, will you read that for me, sir? This is Public Citizen.
Social media made us all worse. Clout chasers, fame chasers, tearing each other down. That is celebrated now.
Do you agree with that or disagree?
I mean, I don't think I have to.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. It's previously what we were talking about here. These past couple of last comments, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot relate to
Mm-hmm.
because I still
Okay.
live that way. I
Well,
don't
you
know why
understand.
you all. I don't know why you all don't live that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly don't speak on behalf of the black community in that issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you. I don't know why you all aren't better people
Mm-hmm.
or achieving to do that or establish community where you're at. I don't know why you're living in places where you haven't reached out and joined communities. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why you're not doing that because it's certainly your choice to do so
Mm-hmm.
wherever you're at. I don't change because of where I go
Mm-hmm.
or what happens around me. I'm
I take
still, we still have a standard of living and moral values, regardless of what everyone else is doing.
mm-hmm.
So
I
I
take
get
me.
very critical
Mm-hmm.
of
I
people
take
when they
me
get to
everywhere I
talking
go.
about black folks.
Mm-hmm. I take me everywhere I go. Go ahead.
Everywhere I go. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not living better lives, that's your fault. I don't know what your community was doing. But I would really be cautious of making it a color issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, we've all had we have a common past as it relates to slavery and discrimination and those
Mm-hmm.
things because of being black. But that's what white folks was doing to us. I don't know why you doing what you doing to one another.
Mm.
I don't know why you're treating one another the way you're treating one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's so individual.
Do you think we've drank the sauce?
No,
got-
ain't no we
Mm-hmm.
in this conversation.
Mm-hmm. But there is.
There are some of you
Mm-hmm.
who are simply not the best you that you can be.
Mm.
And that's just what it is. If you want better, do better. Be better.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't got nothing to do with what white folks doing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your families together if that's what you so desire. Teach them the right way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
That's
good.
your responsibility. That
It is.
ain't society's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Every man teaches children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand why you all aren't doing the way you're supposed to be doing or living better lives. I'm not even gonna criticize you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's a way that you could choose to do better
If you so desire.
if you so desire.
Cassandra, what's on your heart? What do you say to that?
I believe that there has been a great divide between black men and black women.
Mm-hmm.
Not all, okay, so I'm not putting all, but there's definitely a divide because when I look at the families and the structure of families right now, and I see where we are,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a really a quick example. Yesterday, I had a young man that worked with me on projects and stuff to call, and he was complaining about his baby's mother and how she had taken him to court and wouldn't let him see the child like he wanted to, and he was fighting to keep the child. She's found somebody and she's planning on getting married and moving out of state, and he wants to fight her for that. But this kid has 11 children by 10 different baby mamas,
Mm.
and has never committed to not one of those women in marriage.
I'm all right. How you?
Mutual line, Curtis. Go ahead, Cassandra.
And has never committed to not one of those women in marriage.
Mm.
But you want to, because this woman has found somebody that wants to marry her, and but he lives in another state, he works in another state, you want to fight her for that child to stay here. And I don't, it's stuff like that I don't understand, and I think it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's petty because you have never committed to one woman out of 10 baby mamas.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of those women did you think enough of them to commit. I'm just saying.
Now, Cassandra, I know that if y'all had that conversation, you told him that. So how did he receive it? If y'all had
Ma, well, I take care of my children, and that's not, I ain't saying that you can't take care of them, but then every few months you in court with one of them because the child support is, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me, but he rationalized it. But my job, I feel like, Leonard, when we're working with people, our job is to present the information.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to make a decision whether you want to do right or whether you want to keep doing the same old and getting the same old results.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice.
Absolutely. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I can honestly say that I think most of these people are half informed because they didn't have a proper upbringing. I'm gonna go back to that again. Everybody wasn't raised the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you know there is out there for you to do better. But if you don't know better, what can you do?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out there that don't know better. They have been brought up in a program, in a system that they were neglected to get educated in.
Mm-hmm.
They were poisoned and infected with negative behaviors. You know, we talk about toxic masculinity. We talk about these neighborhoods. Money over everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It became just, you know, something to say recently, but really and truly, that's the American way.
Mm-hmm.
Money over everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Cassetta just said this man got 11 kids, 10 baby mamas. And he said, but I take care of them
Mm-hmm.
because money over everything.
Yeah.
See, long as you can pay to play, everything good. But what about the bun? What about the quality time?
Mm-hmm.
What about the positive reinforcement?
Mm-hmm.
What about the programming? It's a whole lot
Amen.
more stuff to do with bringing up children. But see, remember what I said? Something happened in society that made people start valuing success in that American dream.
Mm-hmm.
That divided the black family.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it divided black men and black women because it became cool to it became acceptable to date black men that sold dope or ran scams as long as they had money and could provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
See, we took a lot of the qualities that you were supposed to look for in a man and a woman, and then we
Enrico,
dumbed them down.
Enrico, are you saying
Yeah,
is a certain part of what you're saying? Sometimes women gave us a pass, give us as men a pass, even though we was the lifestyle we was living was not conducive to what it needs to be. Long as we was making money, they gave us a pass, and that got us. That's a played a part in getting us to where we are right now. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I ain't saying they gave us a pass. I'm saying that everybody accepted that whatever it took for you to get money and get successful and achieve this American dream,
Mm-hmm.
it was acceptable.
Mm.
Whatever it took. So if you
Wow.
can get with a dope man to get that house and that picket fence and get the red bottom shoes and this and that, get it. If you can hit the strip club, get it. If you can twerk, get it. If you can sell dope, get it. If you can pimp, get it. You kidnap these girls and sell them, get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just get that green paper with little fine pieces of art on it in Latin words and God.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Wow.
get it, money over everything. And then you start hearing these words from celebrities and media. Public citizens said it. Twism. Remember
Mm-hmm.
Shaq got popular and he could rap and he could do everything and he could go on our Studio Hall and he could produce this thing called Twism.
Mm-hmm.
The world is mine.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's
Wow.
been the mindset of warmongers. That's
Yeah.
been the mindset of bomb developers.
Mm-hmm.
That has been the mindset of people that said that, well, you know what? War is necessary and you're going to have collateral damage. Yep, that collateral damage ain't the damage to buildings and homes. It's the damage to the lives that will be lost for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy McVeigh. We know him as a racist and a terrorist. That man went and fought for the United States, was trying to be a killer. Shot somebody in the head at long distance. Now, he was a misfit. He didn't fit in. But this day, everybody celebrated him for accomplishing the goal for America, which was killing the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt good. He was like, man, you know what? I accomplished my goal. Now everybody celebrating me, man. I'm the man. Yeah, I'm getting all this attention, but deep down in the heart, something didn't feel right. He said he kept flashing back, thinking about that person that he shot, parents and children and wife and siblings crying, expecting them to come home and getting that bad news. And he realized all that bad news was going to come to them because of what he did. And he didn't even know who this man was.
Mm-hmm.
But he was told to go ahead and take his life
And
for the honor of your country
mm-hmm.
as a dude.
And I'm gonna tell you
Because
something.
that ain't no living human being with a family. That is the enemy, and he is collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Or when we bomb these places and we kill these innocent families, they collateral damage. So, I mean, you know, that mindset. It's that money over everything mindset. That twist in the world is mine mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It created an individual, I'm going to say, atmosphere.
Good deal.
Then
Yeah.
you got more media. How can
Mhm.
you be independent independent woman, but you want a relationship?
Mm. Let me go to
How can
go ahead. Finish the thought, brother.
I'm just trying to relate that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that mindset. See, when we told money over everything in this American dream, then that made people self-driven, and then people start promoting independence, and the world is mine. Me, 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 me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're living in. We're living in a me, me, me society. And black men and black women can't even see eye to eye to get their community together in a lot of cases.
Cream, cash rules everything around me. There was a song, man, and people love that song. Cream, cash rules everything around me. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Do we see eye to eye? Curtis, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Right, I had to hit the mute button. Do we see eye to eye in reference to?
Black men and black women.
It hurts to say it, but no, we don't. No, we don't. And a part of that is because you got to understand that one has been given um, things to separate uh, the two from each other. Um, when I hear this question, and me being a film dude, stage dude, I always think about the James Earl Jones movie. I'm pretty sure everybody on here know what movie I'm talking about. Is it something? Is something Miss Claire? Do you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I'm look at the name. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it
I
though.
can't remember the name. I wish I could remember the name.
Claudette.
Is it Miss Claudette?
Is it Claudette?
It wasn't
I think.
Yeah,
called Claudette.
where,
Mm-hmm.
where they had moved to the city and they was looking for a better life, and they had to seek some kind of help because they realistically couldn't afford to live there, so they had to seek some help. But James Earl Jones had to move out of the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, that's not the one I was thinking of.
So it's something clear, but in that movie, it's a clear representation because it, although we don't like to address issues like that sometimes because we want to believe that folks are using it as an excuse. However, you have to look at the psychology and what was going on. Um, if you telling me that a family moved here in hopes of gaining more wealth, more dollars and cents, and now let's say that family has two sons and two daughters, right? And here it is, these people show up to the house that do not look like any representation of your neighborhood. And when they show up to the house, the father is forced to hide in the closet,
Mm.
or the father is forced to hang jump out of the window. Once they get in, the father hang jumps out of the window and runs down the street like as if he was never in the house. Or you're forced to observe that these people are coming tomorrow, so your father's packing up all his stuff and leaving and do not return until they are gone. Psychologically, that can do something to a child.
Mm-hmm.
There's been, I'm a film dude. There's been many a years where that which is positive about us as a community, there's been at least 20 to 25 years where in film that did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest. It didn't happen. There was no representation of, there was either none or there was one. And the representation that was given is not a representation of the reality for which poor folk live in, black, white, and candy stripe. So,
Mm-hmm.
understanding what the narrative is and how the narrative is being controlled, you have to account for that. I mean, I get it. Everybody got a right to choose and this, that, and the third. But Rico was dead on with what he was saying. You really have to understand that. I thought about that a many a times.
Mm-hmm.
What McVeigh was going through, like, yo, I don't even know these people. You know what I mean? Like this man, I remember sitting in the Saudi Arabia desert, and I'm talking to one of them, and he done showed me his whole family.
Mm-hmm.
His wife, his kids, his mama, his daddy, his grandmama, granddaddy, great grandmama, great granddaddy. He done showed me some things that, you know, other soldiers when they had to deal with him, they would come and get me and say, Kurt, man, go and talk to him, man. You see what I'm saying? Hey
Mm-hmm.
man, go and talk to him, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I get it, man. I get it. I really do.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Nothing much, just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Just listening because I don't subscribe to a lot of that type of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard of it before, from a research point of view,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never seen any reality behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50 years old.
Okay, explain to me when you say I don't see any reality behind it. What exactly does that mean?
I just don't think believe. I just think that is so a huge leap to believe that black men are not taking responsibility for their children because of government or
Mm-hmm.
programs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 50.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a huge family. The people were poor,
Mm-hmm.
but never did that dictate their loyalty and their faith to their wives.
Mm-hmm.
This must stop. You can continue to believe that crap if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure everybody would love to use it as a defense to their situation.
When you say defense, or do you also mean excuse?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
A man telling you he's not taking responsibility for his woman and children because of the government.
Mm. Now, how do you say that, and also say what Kurt was talking about, how the system said that we're going to support you, we're going to give you this quote unquote welfare or farewell, whatever you want to call it, but your husband or your man cannot be in the household.
Because that
How
was the program. That was the criteria in the program.
mm-hmm.
It didn't have nothing to do with you being black.
Does that have does it also divisiveness? Is that a way of dividing? Was that
Well,
a
that's
way?
the way. A lot of times, that's the way you city folk was choosing to live.
Mm-hmm. But
Rural people didn't live like that.
my question is it a form of divisiveness though? Is it a form
No,
of dividing
no,
the family?
no,
How could
not
it
at
not
all.
be?
Not at all.
Mm-hmm. How
Because
could it
one,
not?
you choose that.
Mm-hmm.
I know folks right now lying about their marital status, I believe, in
Mm-hmm.
order to get government benefits.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See,
Mm.
when you're gonna play the game, you got to play it. When
Mm-hmm.
you play the game, you got to play it. But see, my grandfather didn't play the game.
Mm-hmm.
He started a farm to feed all them 13 kids. Now, why you doing what you doing is your business.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when you start blaming other people, that's where the problem come in.
Okay.
I
Okay.
ain't never known a man, not a real one, leave his children behind this foolishness.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, what do you say to that? What's on your heart?
Well, I don't know why they're not, a lot of black men are not being responsible. I don't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
If I did, I'd try to bring some type of result. But all we got to do is look at the statistics. We know that there are strong, awesome black men that are with their families. They're taking care of their families. They're getting out there on the grind, doing what they have to do. But statistically, we can look and see the amount of women-led households.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these women are working 2-3 jobs trying to be, and there are men that laid down, got the babies with them. And
Thank you.
they're responsible. Listen, I never let anybody off. I never let women off. And that's why a lot of times women get pissed at me. I don't let you off. You need to protect your own self.
Thank you.
You are laying down, getting these babies, and then knowing half the time that these men ain't staying with you and they damn sure ain't marrying you.
Tell the truth.
Are you
That's the
gonna do
truth.
it?
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice. But now you have all of these children growing up without the man in the house, without even him being an influence because he don't even stick around. He barely want to see the child. That hurts our community.
Thank you.
I don't have the answer as to how to fix that. I don't have it. I really don't. But if I did, I would be putting it out there so that we can bring some, even if you're not with the woman, don't neglect the child. That's always been my thing to any man.
Trifling
Even
is
if you
hate.
don't want to be with that woman, do not neglect that child.
That's
And
good.
that is what we have a lot going on.
Good deal. Good
So,
deal. Bad.
and Raheem, just to add what Cassandra said, ain't nothing worse than a man lying to his children about why he not there. That's how I judge your character, about how you care for your children. Don't come to me with this foolishness about the government and all this crap. Woman working 3 jobs, you can't work 1?
Exactly.
Trust me, she'll still work 3 and you work 1 if she got to, if you stay there and love her and them children. Because y'all would be a family. But now y'all around here mating like wild dogs, and you want to blame the white man for why you not taking care of your responsibility. He didn't lay down with her. So you better get yourself together and get right, because a day of atonement is coming, and you will atone for those things you have done. And first will be how you treated your God and then your children.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. We got about 20-something minutes before we get out of here, man. We'd definitely love to hear your input on this. Give us a call. 508-924-3521. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Oh, Pillow beat me up pretty bad.
I see. What's going on, man? We're talking about family right now. And men not stepping up and taking care of the household and staying in the household, if you will. Cassandra's made mention of a young man that got 11 babies by 10 different mothers.
Maybe that's why creation was making sure I stayed asleep this morning. To me, this is across the board. There are too many men. I don't even want to call them men, to be honest. Grown boys that just want to run around and get their stuff wet by a woman. And they just, it always seems like they're more worried about owning guns and firearms and drugs, or, you know, in my age range, it's crazy how many men brag about how many women they're sleeping with and baby mamas and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And I just don't understand it or what truly caused it. It's sickening that these are, you know,
but
what some people consider men, just out here running around treating women like crap. Huh?
Well, let's do this, because like Cassandra said, you know, the responsibility goes both ways. The ladies have to also take responsibility and not just lay down and let these guys do these things. Now, I think their responsibility goes on both sides.
No, I agree with that. it's harder for me to put it on women in some in certain situations
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
because of the way society has tried to portray women. You have one side that says women are strong and can make all these choices, and another side that goes, you are to do what you're told.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to look a certain way.
Mm-hmm. I could
So,
I understand what you're saying, but let me throw this in right. If somebody take a vial, a cup full of poison and put it on the table and say either you drink this poison or you walk away, what I do at that time is going to determine my future or if I have a future. Because if I decide to consume that poison and it kills me, there's no future. But if I decide to turn and walk away from that, if I decide to turn and walk away from that, then I have a future that I can look forward to. And I give that example because a lot of times if a woman, and I'm not saying I'm putting the responsibility on both sides. I'm not pointing the finger at one or both, but I don't want it to be a one-sided thing. If she decide not to lay down and allow that individual to impregnate her, then she don't have to worry about dealing with the kids. Badger?
oh, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, like, I know there are questionable women out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, growing up, the amount of men that walked away from their wives and children versus the things that women did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like this one woman I knew, oh, kids never said anything bad about her whatsoever. She's always, house is always clean, gardens always was taken care of, and the guy just up and left her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was something over, she became loose or something.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
And I'm like, what? Do
Mm-hmm.
you still care for her? Yeah, but the sex isn't good.
Mm.
So he left. So
Mm.
mm, I'm actually meaning this on one-sided because to me it's more men doing it, and then
See,
I,
I struggle with that, brother. I really struggle with that because
I
I like to
I'm
look
just
at both
accepting
sides of the coin.
reality
Okay.
because
Now,
if you
my
go by
thing,
hold on, if you go by statistics, if you
mm-hmm,
go out in your community and
mm-hmm,
actually get to know the people,
mm-hmm,
you know, most of the time the woman that has the multiple kids that the man ran out on, probably was given the illusion that the man wanted to be with them and be this loving husband and all this other stuff. So the woman opened her legs,
mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden she got pregnant. And he's like, "Peace, I'm out."
Okay. But see, that's and my thing is, and we got to move to somebody else. But my thing is that is one sided because I deal with both sides, and I am out there in the community quite often, and I know that there's both sides to this coin. There's both sides to the coin. You can't just say that the man is responsible. He's this, he's that. Yes, he has responsibility, and absolutely, but she does too. She does as well. Let me keep this thing. Rico, what do you say? Oh, hold on. Curtis had a thought. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Curtis, you there? Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I want to go back to what Curtis said the first time. I agree with
Mm-hmm.
that the man being taken out the household scenario because I've seen it. I've seen it in my day and time, and I've heard it from women that went through that situation in the past. Um, in the South, poverty was a little different than in the North, and it was a lot more abundant. As a matter of fact, I think history states that there was a mass exodus from the South over years, people leaving for a better way of life. They're going to Detroit, New York, Chicago, California. And when they got to those places, there was still some sort of hint of racism. They
Mm-hmm.
had a red summer in Chicago. Wow. They had red summers in California, way out west. Racism still existed. Just wasn't as bad as in the South. So wherever racism existed, there was always an agenda. And with this agenda, you had people in power that did say, well, you know what, man, we'll give these people benefits, but they can't bring that man into the house, knowing the importance out of all these studies that they done did on human behavior, cause and effect. They knew the importance of having that man in the household.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, you know what, you can stay in the South and suffer through that Jim Crow and all that racism and lynching, that injustice, or you can move out here to Chicago, or you can move upstate and you can get you an apartment. Then the people in the South said, well, you know what, we could do the same thing. We see what's happening up north. The ghettos are getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
There's some black people that selling, and we have black families that selling, but then we have more pimps now.
Mm-hmm.
We have people that's learning about this thing called heroin. They're moving from North Carolina to New York, and they're in worse poverty because the cost of living is higher. And these country boys learning how to sell dope, and they learning how to sell it so good, we're going to make movies out of it.
Yep.
And we ain't going to ask what them boys' daddies was. Them boys' daddies were left in North Carolina because they couldn't go to New York with the mama if she was getting government assistance. Well, why not assist the whole family? If it wasn't an agenda, why didn't they assist the whole family?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They stated that you couldn't have a man in the house, so we can't ignore that they didn't tear the family apart when that was an option. Now you say, well, why did the woman have to make that option? Because that nigga was sorry. No, he was in Jim Crow South where it wasn't his fault that he was black and somebody wouldn't hire him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't his fault that he was black and somebody wouldn't promote him to the position he deserved to be in, even though he was doing all the work, because he was in Jim Crow, S-O-U-T-H.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience down here was totally different. And some people won't understand that because they didn't live it. But somehow you might be able to put yourself in these people's shoes once you understand the reality of what they had to actually go through to try to get out of this thing that was going on in the South. It was a sacrifice had to be made. A choice had to be made. Either you're going to choose better financial opportunities or you're going to choose your family. And when people started choosing better financial opportunities, they kept choosing better financial opportunities. And then that's when the dope boy became qualified.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Curtis, I had Curtis mute when I went to him. I'm going to go back to him now. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, first, let me say this, man. I need to clear something up because I think some things got heard out of context, what I was saying. I am by all means in no way, shape, form, or fashion trying to stand on that a man is not doing what he's supposed to do because the government is saying the government is stopping him.
Mm-hmm.
I am not in no way, shape, form, or fashion saying that, right? And anybody who still thinks that is almost, you know what? Go get in the clown car. Because there's too many self-identified opportunities for any man to do the things that he's supposed to do. Now, I'm out here every day in these communities. Now, I don't know what y'all seeing in Georgia, but I know what I'm seeing in Baltimore. I know what I'm seeing in Philadelphia. I know what I'm seeing in New York. I know what I'm seeing in Virginia. I know what I'm seeing in North Carolina, and I know what I'm seeing in South Carolina. And what I'm seeing is a large percentage of men attempting to try and come back if they are gone, and or spending that money with the court system to get their rights.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them, Curtis.
Exactly. I was ready to go there, but I'd rather let you say that. So we're seeing the change. So this old false dichotomy, this old idea that this is who we are. I'm not going to say that because there are people listening to this show that will be really quick to say, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And I will always stand on that because I've heard that. I've been in a room with white supremacists and heard them say that. So I will never throw that out there publicly as something that says that this is how we govern ourselves, because all of us don't. I am a separated father. I made some bad decisions. I had to pay consequences for those decisions, but that did not stop me from being a father.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to let anybody stop me from doing that. However, you have to see that there has been a push, like Rico was just talking about, right? A lot of people don't even take the time to think and or dig or account for during the Great Migration, when all of these blacks migrated north. They didn't migrate dumb. They might didn't have the academia qualifications that society at large said, but they had the technical skills. A lot of them was woodworkers, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and was the best at what they did. That's how Massa was able to accomplish the things he was able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
They could build houses. They were doing several things that, guess what? The population at large did not have the skills to do. And what really happened, if you really do the research, is when all those folks migrated from the south to the north, what happened was the northern white supremacists or white nationalists got scared that the Negroes was going to take their jobs. So they either did two things. They either paid them beneath the poverty level to do the same amount of work, or they did not hire them at all. Only thing happened was during the Great Migration, Jim Crow became institutionalized, meaning that it became written but unwritten, said but unsaid, heard but unheard. So the same rules for Jim Crow apply, but it just wasn't talked about. The same lynchings applied, but it just wasn't tying a rope around somebody's neck. It was tying a rope around the kitchen table and dragging it outside so that there's no food to go, there's no table for the food to go on. It was putting a magnet to the refrigerator and pulling it out window, so many words, so that there was no food in the house, so that one of those people had to be dependent upon the other. If you read the Willie Lynch letter, it is specifically set up and drawn to the specific foundation of, guess what? If you take any group, culture, and or subset, and you make them dependent strictly upon you and your services, you will be able to manipulate and or control whatever they do and whatever they think.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing going.
I don't want my words to come misconstrued, like I'm condoning and saying, like I'm one of those people say that I'm going to blame everything on the government, because I'm not.
Good deal.
That's not what I'm saying. What
Hold
I'm
on,
saying
Kurt.
is,
Let me pull some more people in, Kurt. We only got a few more minutes, brother. Finish it up for me.
All I'm saying is, instead of just looking at the boat that's on the picture, we might want to look at the whole entire picture. When we speaking on that, let's look at the whole picture. Let's not just tell folks, oh, this is what I think it is. Oh, let's tell folks why we think it's that way. Let's dive deeper into what the topic is instead of just being surface based, because surface based ain't teaching nobody nothing.
Exactly. Cassandra?
Yeah, and I didn't think that Kurt, I didn't think you were saying that, but I mean, it may have been misconstrued that way, but I know that you don't think like that. Just hearing you and hearing your conversations on a day-to-day basis, I know that that's not your thought pattern. We don't need a blame game. We need a regain game. We need to figure out, how do we regain the fathers, the family structures, and it doesn't mean that he has to go back and live in the home with the woman that he don't want to be with, but it needs to be structured where the children are the first priority, and we want to take care of these children and make sure that they have what they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen. VP, good morning. How you doing this morning?
It's Friday.
Friday. Hey, sis, how you doing?
All is well.
What's
cold, all is well.
I know you've been listening in for a minute. Sis, what's on your heart? What do you say to what we're talking about right now?
So I'll just say that understanding which the challenge is the shift. Okay, I'm gonna say it like this: we always like to say we play chess, not checkers.
Mm-hmm.
But the masters of chess always looks at not just the potential of the moves ahead to know how you're going to move, but the effect of that move. And I think that's the part that we kind of miss in this process right now, because right now, a lot of the narrative is feeding into them getting in our heads. And I say them, so those that aren't from the communities that have not been affected by the things have been going on. And then also now our generations of our very own are now in the category of the them, because the understanding or the importance of gaining understanding, sitting at the feet of the elders, teaching these things that, hey, you're not a bad person. You know, you're not pre-designed to only be a home wrecker. You're not only designed to be a drug dealer. You're not only designed to be this. Even though this is the environment in which a lot of us may be in or have come from, the separation of the family and the division of the family was something that was put upon us, not something that who you always have been. And we are repeating these cycles of the narratives because now we have detached from informing our own and relying on others to educate our own. And so if we're able to regain that, we change the next 3 moves of the future regarding our families and the importance of them understanding why the husband, the black man, the family unit needs to be together first. But then even if it's a situation where it can't or doesn't work out one way or the other, that it doesn't have to be this devastating name calling, bashing, I'm only elevated if I tear you down type of approach or mindset. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenge that we're facing today, because now we also have these other variables, as has been articulated by other speakers, that's in there massaging those predetermined mindsets that we're trying to break apart from, because they already are not paying the black population what they need to pay in comparison. And if you're a woman, that's double the trouble, right? So even now we're kind of facing a situation that even in a 2-parent home, it's almost impossible in a society. And so now everybody's like, oh, that's the song of everyone. But it is going to impact us differently because we're already marginally disadvantaged in the same situation that does face everybody else.
Good deal.
I'll stop there at the time.
Good deal. Good deal. We're going to keep this thing going. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I think a lot of there's a lot of I can't look at society from my steps.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
It does.
A lot of times we look at things and we say how it should be based on. And I'm not saying any particular person. I'm just saying that I can't look at your life from where I stand, because it's not that way.
Mm-hmm.
I posted something in this broadcast doing it, and I looked at 3 generations. There was a brand new newborn baby, evidently her mom and the grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And the grandbaby was held in the arms of the grandmother. And the mom and the grandmother was, I don't know what you call that when you shake your thing in front of the camera. I don't know what that's all about. What is that?
No.
Yeah.
Leonard might know what that is.
No, I'm just saying.
Lasciviousness.
Here's why I'm saying that is
Lasciviousness.
Man, you should just check the video out. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see that when do you straighten that type of what generation helps the other generation to make a better change
Mm-hmm.
for the next? Because here we are in a society that they're dancing in front of the camera, but there's no man in the place.
Mm-hmm. That's like that tick. That's
But they
like
happy go
go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
they happy go lucky. They good
Mm-hmm.
to the point where they're broadcasting. Oh boy, I can't say it. I wish I could.
Cassandra said.
Wish I
Text
could.
it to me. I'll say it.
No, they moving the monkey on all over the place.
Oh my
Mm,
God.
the monkey.
I don't know
Okay,
what.
you wasn't ready for that
No, I wasn't ready for that one, brother. You know, you took a left turn, didn't even put a
Why did I
signal.
say that? Why did I say that? Why
Mm,
did I say that? Why did I say that? It's because a lot of times we're talking about the father's not a place, out of place, not a father's not a place. She got 12 baby daddies or whatever the case may be,
mm-hmm.
but none of them raped her.
Mm-hmm. She gave it freely.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now you deal with that the way you want to.
Mm. I stopped looking at
But not
TikTok.
only, not only, not only did they not rape her, but she had to test several dudes for the paternity of several other kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. It's a lot going on. And that's why I was saying when I was talking to Badger earlier, man, you know, it's there's two sides to this coin, man. We can't just say the guys are all wrong. We can't say the women are all wrong. This responsibility got to be sent right down the middle, man. It really have to be sent right down the middle. I was looking at TikTok. I hadn't looked at TikTok for about two maybe 3 weeks now. Hadn't been on there because I last time I went on there, man, I saw, and y'all might have seen it too. Grandmother, the mother, and the daughter having a twerking contest, man. I was like, man, this too much. This too much. I can't do this. Badger, what's on your heart?
You know, I saw the perspective that I have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just,
Hey, Ron,
Go ahead, Badger.
after you finish with Badger.
Okay, go ahead, Badger.
Yeah, after you finish with Badger, come.
to me, this started a long time ago. And men have just become so egocentric and prideful that
Mm.
it's led to a lot of issues that we have.
But see, and I understand
And
where you're coming from, and I understand your stance, brother. But you know, I again, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your thought, but I can't just put it on one side. But go ahead.
I mean, if other people don't want to, that's up to them. That's their personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just sharing a different viewpoint
Mm-hmm.
because it, in the situation that you gave where the woman has multiple kids and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she could have mentally something wrong. There's
No.
all types of things.
Mm-hmm.
She
No.
could
He's the
also
one. He's the one that had multiple kids. He had 11 kids by 10 different women.
he
Yeah.
he
Mm-hmm.
how good of a silver tongue was he to trick these women, and why did the women agree to it?
I don't know
See,
if that's the issue.
he,
The issue
he
is the kids, I think.
here's my issue.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, some people are also blaming women when women have literally been taught to obey and that they are less than men for how many centuries?
Well,
We're talking hundreds. Let me finish, please.
the boys and the girls
Like,
are raised in the same household sometime. Go ahead.
so for hundreds of years, these women, females, we'll just do male and female are taught that, you know, it's their fault they have sin because they ate the apple. They are less than, they are less than, they are less than, they don't get paid the same. They have to be stay-at-home moms. They have to be married because if you're not married, you're a prostitute and da 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 da. And that's only been recently changing since the 2000s. So if these women only have one thought process that's literally been pushed into their brain as traumatic experiences, because they're not allowed to think anything different. Saying it's both 50-50 to me is really hard when I studied and researched all these facts of things that have happened for we'll just use the last 200 years.
Mm-hmm. But see, my thing is this right here, and like I say, you feel the way you want to feel, and I respect the way you feel in your opinion. But at the same time, I don't necessarily have to agree with it, because I know that men and women both have been placed in situations. Both of them has had situations thrusted upon them, and I can't say, like, if there's a child born, you can't say that it's a man's responsibility that the child is born, and not say it's a woman's responsibility if she was in.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to clear up what I said.
Hold on, Badger. Hold on. If it's a consensual situation, and they both lay down and perform adult activities, and a child is born, they both have responsibilities.
That's in a situation where a man and woman are both in agreement that they are doing this because they are going to have a relationship for the rest of their life. I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if this is one of those situations that happen more often, of a male going, yes, I'm going to be there, I'm going to support you, I'm going to help you, let's have a kid, and all of a sudden they have a kid and they dip.
Okay. Is it also wrong if the woman she's the one that's playing the game? She's the one that's, because in this day and time, in this day and time, hold on, in this day and time, women do the same thing that men do. And so we got to finish this thing up. You and I could go back and forth with this. We could talk.
Yeah, in this day and age, I view men do it way more than women ever have.
No,
but
we got to go to somebody else.
Learn how to do it.
No, I don't agree with that. We got to go to someone else. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
You know what? I will refrain to comment for the very simple fact I don't agree with half the stuff what y'all talking about.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
You can keep that opinion
and
use it how you see fit.
But let me ask you this: when two people come together and they have a baby consensually, would you agree or disagree that it's both their responsibility?
There's no two people. Well, I'm not gonna say there's no two people, but you're gonna do better than that. There's some people just got together and was screwing, and somebody got pregnant, and the pregnancy was not planned.
That's true.
And just because somebody come and tell you they want to have a baby, don't mean they want to be there to take care of that baby. It's something that y'all obviously have not spoken about, and that's marriage and commitment. That's what you don't have. That's what you never spoke of. Y'all just getting together, screwing, and lying to one another. That's what you're doing.
That's true.
All the things that you are doing are the result of sin.
True.
So if you're not going to address starting doing the right thing, then that other conversation is, how do you get back to doing the right thing? Everybody who has gone astray eventually will tell the story. You know what? I got my life together and chose to do the right thing. So when you choose to do that, your life will get better. I guarantee you that. But as long as you continue to embrace your own wickedness, you're going to find yourself in wicked positions, like the father of 11 children that you don't take care of. It is disgusting. And it's a conversation that y'all stick y'all chests out everywhere else. Y'all running everything else. You're better than everybody with your chauvinistic attitudes. It's a man's world and all this. But now when it comes to taking care of your kids, now all of a sudden, well, that woman. That's why you're gonna die the way you're gonna die, is because of that.
Again, I take both.
Be a man.
I deal with both sides of the coin, brother, and I see the responsibility lies on both of them.
Like I say, be a man.
That's true. And be a woman. And be a woman.
Like I said, it ain't no command to be a woman. It's a command to be man.
Well, my understanding is when they say about man, he's speaking of both man and woman. But that's a whole different
A
conversation.
woman is dealing with her curse.
For a whole different show. For a whole different show. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra? Did we lose Cassandra? Oh, I think we lost. I think we lost Cassandra.
That was your whole argument back in the day for being paid more than women.
There wasn't my argument. No, sir. Rico, what's on your heart?
Friday said something key. She brought up pay disparity. Pay disparity has been the issue since slavery, right?
Yes.
If you think about it, there wasn't no pay involved in slavery. So everybody been trying to get equal pay. Till 2021, we still trying to get paid equal. Women ain't getting paid right, but a lot of women are independent now. They got to lead the household. Men, a lot of black men ain't been getting paid right. We ain't gonna even go into that. I just mentioned the word slavery. Enough said. Because we still talking about pay disparities. So what all can come with that. Without looking on the surface, if you just took probably one person's life, you could probably go back and see some stuff and be like, man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And so, what it boils down to is if you don't know any better, you can't do any better. That's about up 100 years and 200 years ago. The women that's 20 and 30 years old now, 40 years old, didn't go through what they went through 100 years ago. They got exposed to the atmosphere they were brought up in 30 years ago. So that's the atmosphere that you have to attribute to that. What we have to ask is why did that atmosphere exist that trained and programmed society back then to think the way they thought so differently? Because most of these children are not walking around here come from rape. These men have been walking around knocking women upside the head, taking turns running trains on them. Some of them women been doing self-training, and the men don't even know it. So it's a type of behavior that has taken precedence, and we are distracted. That goes back to me saying how far out of order we are, and how money has ruled everything. Money compensates for everything. I think Donald said that about when are we going to teach the generations, and what it boiled down to, we didn't pass down a proper moral to the generations to come. So they don't really have an understanding of the real purpose of family or having children. That's why the boy said, I take care of my 11 kids. See, because money make up for everything. If you got enough money, that's all you need. So somewhere society told people, if you got money, you good. That's the American way, the American dream. See, we talk about a lot of stuff, and really truly, a lot of this stuff ends up coming right back around to one thing. We are tracing this perception of the American dream, and the American way doesn't benefit. It isn't meant for everybody to benefit. And it's meant for selfish.
And that's why a lot of the rich individuals flying these little young girls to different countries and having their way with them because they got the money and the resources to do it, which is ridiculous.
That's why women are choosing to say that, well, you know what? He might not work, but he got that money. And that's why people say, well, you know what? He might not have graduated school, but he knows something. Why he knows something? Because he got that money. See, as long as you got money make everything all right. But people don't understand the real purpose and the meaning of humanity and what you should be doing with that money. So now we have people that just have the wrong concept. You go out here and make all these babies. It don't matter if you have a bond with them or that you really teach them how to be men. As long as you can take care of them and buy them their little Jordans and make them look cute. And they can say, well, he take care of his kids, girl. He a good daddy.
Good daddy.
Because money rules everything. And when you go back and think about a lot of the dysfunction that's going on in just society altogether, the driving factor that made everything go sideways was somebody chose to go chase the money that they could get out of the deal.
Exactly. We got
benefited them.
Got to get out of here, man. It's already at 15 after. It's already 15 after. Got to get on out. We've been on air for 3 hours and going on 5 minutes, but we rolling this morning. But I gotta go to before I leave. Give you a real quick version, sis. Go to Friday, and then we're gonna touch Donald again before we get out of here. Friday, what's on your heart? Quick version.
Just really quickly, I think the continuation of the conversation, validated my point, which was brought out by Rico, which is we are feeding the next generation what? Because now we have babies having babies. We didn't do at the feet of the elders. We get the information, and society is feeding them, and we're fighting a battle from the inside based on the outside.
That's a good deal. Toussaint?
If we teach our children, and that's what we have to do. A young man can help. See, there's something ugly now, and hang up. If a young man pull his pants down and a young lady keep her skirt down, he'll have nowhere to put it.
Wow. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir? Rico, you there?
I had to take it off mute.
Okay.
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety, you can tune in to www.dklmediagroup.com at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Good deal. Leonard.
Sir.
It was an old lady told me one time ago that, and this is crazy, and I don't know why it came to my memory, right back to my memory. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get your prayers out if it's okay. But she said that a woman could run faster with her dress up than a man could with his pants down. Prayers out.
That's funny. As we get ready to pray, learn to do right. Seek justice.
Exactly.
Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless and plead the case of the widow. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for an opportunity to touch people's lives and present to them a different point of view as we as believers have chose. We hope that we have given somebody a solution or just a path to righteousness. These are the blessings we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Rico, you like that, man? She can run faster with her dress up than he can with his pants down.
Man, that's a lot easier than what I'll say, man. I'll say the same thing a lot of times, man. I'm like, unless a man rape a woman, he can't be a dog unless she let him be a dog. Somewhere they choose it.
Exactly. But that when we say that, I want y'all to understand and not saying that we're trying to negate his responsibility, because he has responsibility too. Now he make that baby, got a responsibility to take care of the child because it's his responsibility just as much as it is hers. And so we're not trying to give him an out. He don't get an out. That child got to be taken care of.
And like Jay-Z said, men lie and women lie. So it ain't nobody gonna take more to blame, because men lie and deceive women to get the panties off, and women lie to deceive men and think they're the ones that took the panties off for.
Exactly. It is now 10:18. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and associates and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:18. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that you live in, and let your light shine. And give somebody some love. Again, you might find some love in return. Beautiful thing. Have a great day. Be blessed. Love you.